Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gents. Hope everyone is well. It is the 28th of April 2023. Just in case anybody doesn't know, we're trading the S&P 500 E-mini futures market. We're trading on the 2000 tick chart as opposed to a time frame. Just represents 2000 trades per one of these candles. So Friday, last day of the week, we have had a bit of news this morning. I did have a look at it. We had a couple little spikes and that was it. So nothing, excuse me, nothing too exciting. So let's have a look. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Indy, how you doing? SW Blaze, morning from Chicago. Now, interesting day yesterday. One of those days where the market just keeps on grinding up. The trouble is, you don't necessarily realise it till it's most of the way up, and in hindsight, you could have made a decent bit of money. But it's just one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes you just don't know it's going to do that. But did anybody notice? Anybody look at Mac's chart? Did they? Hey Scruff, how you doing, buddy? Groll Daddy, how you doing? Anybody notice Mac chart? Did you notice those two trades he marked? High probability trades, both dojis. So, point I'm trying to make is sometimes when markets do things like go up strongly, sometimes maybe it's worth a bit of a risk, you know. Obviously yesterday, every time it came back to the EMA, at the bottom of the channel, it just kept on going up. So at some point you think, okay, we're down here. Yes, we've got a doji, but it's 1.5 points. Is it worth jumping in on a limit order and risking 3/4 of a point for the possibility of having a good old, you know, a good old run? But so sometimes in the past, I've got into trades that weren't necessarily a setup, but I'm getting a strong impression it's moving in a certain direction. Now, obviously, when you're as experienced as Mac, you've seen these charts so many times before, and, you know, you could probably say he doesn't necessarily need signal bars to know where the market's going. Do you know what I mean? So, but it was interesting, actually, just to see. I don't think I've ever seen Mac mark two high probability trades where the signal bars were dojis. So, and funnily enough, there was another trade which was sort of halfway up. We had a sort of a little channel and we had a break and we had two little pushes, a little bit of a square area, and there was a bullish bar. And quite a few traders took that. I think Marco marked it. Daniel, I think, took it. I think there's another guy, Jope. I think he took it. I can't remember now, but there was a bunch of people that took it, but Mac never marked it. So it's weird sometimes, isn't it? It does make you wonder, you know, did some people see things differently or what? I don't know. But he just brushed straight past it, never mentioned it. So it's odd sometimes. But it's the first time I've ever seen Mac mark a doji. So I don't know, who knows. So market is about to open in just over a minute. So let's see what today brings in store. Hopefully we can I did do another trade later yesterday, so I got, because I was I think I was about $140 down. I did get another point, actually. It was just moving up and up and up. So I ended up about $40-50 down, something like that. But little did I know when I took the point, it went on for about another 20 points, which is it's frustrating. Sometimes it just does it. It just keeps on, you know, there are days where they just keep on going, and there just doesn't seem to end. So we have had a gap here. I have reloaded my historic data just to see if we've had a gap. So I think it's likely we're going to fill that. But I did wonder when we had this push up whether we were going to have one leg down and two legs down and maybe a bit more. I don't know, but it was a good strong day yesterday. So let's see what today brings. But it was almost looked like, if we put yesterday's highs, when it finished, it almost looked like a sort of a measured leg. I don't know how much they play a part really yesterday's. I mean, if we're in a trend, you think it might carry on, but we'll see. But it was a nice strong day yesterday. I think I got in about here, actually. There was a trade I looked at and it just kept on going. Okay, so the market is officially open. Now, there is a second entry long there. And that is tempting, but there's... No, it's gone off without me. Second entry long at the key entry point. But it's gone up without me. But I do, and I've heard Matt say this, be careful at the start of the market, because I think you've got institutional traders dropping in positions for the day, and sometimes it can get a bit of an up and down, a bit of a spike before it carries on. But that's a shame. There was a nice... It wasn't too bad, actually. It was a little bit sideways, but it did... could have got... well, best part of 5 points there, I think. It is frustrating, but I try and not jump in a bit too soon. So, what is it? 3.5, yeah. It was definitely a second entry long, but it was a bit congested. So that made me a bit nervous. And it's the start of the market. So many times I've got a little bit too over keen, jumped in, and as soon as the market opens and it ticks me and stops me out. And before I've even started, I'm down. So I try and just be a little bit extra cautious. Sometimes it's especially for me, because I do get a little bit overexcited sometimes. I tend to sort of rein it in a little bit. And it was a second entry, but it was congested and the market had just opened. So I took a cautious approach. It would have worked, but I'm quite happy that I seem to be making the rules and the decisions a bit now, rather than sort of my emotions taking over. I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit of control, and the emotions aren't engulfing me as much. So that's what I'm feeling like lately. So that's good. So hey Sam, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, it happens at some point. You know, the emotional effect it has on you doesn't carry on forever. It can't do. You have to get used to it to a degree. You know, the human minds is amazing at adapting to situations. So, yeah, if you had taken that one, you'd have got a nice points there. I expect it to come up to here or possibly fill that gap. Yeah, done that myself many times. I start the day with a loss. Yeah, absolutely. Now, it was a second entry long, but there was 4 back to back. So there's no argument it's congested. And if I'd have jumped in there and lost a trade, the reason would have been is because it's congested and the market's just open. So there was a time where I'd do those. And in all fairness, if it was an excellent setup, then I probably would do it. But it's clearly sideways there. So there you go. But trouble is, you don't know it was going to do that. Does look like it's slowly grinding up, but it doesn't necessarily mean we could get this sort of push down. It might have a little push up and then come down again. You just don't know. So I am erring on the side of caution a bit more, which is good. It just means I'm aiming in the right direction. So, and I mean, I don't mean actually direction as in up. I mean the direction as in I'm starting to get some control and a little bit more focus. So it was an interesting day yesterday. We had Daniel on the stream. I suppose most of you know Daniel. He's been trading for quite a few years, I think, now. But he was a lot more present when I started trading nearly a couple of years ago on the Facebook group. And he used to put his charts on, and I compare his charts a lot to mine. And he gave me a few useful tips and advice which helped my trading. So it's always nice when you see people you know, have helped you before, and Nate as well. The gorilla guy came on for about I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes, another chat. It's another trader that I watch. Anybody that can trade well makes a success of it. Has my respect, because I know how tough it is. And if you've managed to stick at trading enough to start making money consistently at it, I take my hat off to you. So it was nice. It's nice to get a couple of. Because I suppose a lot of us are in the same boat where, you know, we might make a bit of money and then we lose a bit and we plod on. But I suppose the majority of us are relatively inexperienced, and, you know, we're sort of trying to make our way and sort of make our name in trading. Get some success, but when you get a couple of people on who do well and make a lot of money, it's quite nice. It's nice that they've given the time to come on and have a chit chat with us. It's nice. I like that. So it was a good day. I enjoyed yesterday. It was a nice trading day. A little bit frustrating in the way that we had a massive big move, but there wasn't a huge amount of setups And I feel like I'm starting to get some control, so I am getting a little bit extra cautious in my approach. So that might hold me back, but I'd rather be a little bit cautious than a little bit too over keen. Over keen gets me in trouble. Over cautious doesn't really. So yeah, so all good. So I enjoyed yesterday, actually. I traded on for about an extra hour, actually, but I try and keep it to 3 hours. But to be honest with you, where you're looking at second entry long there, well done, lads. Thanks, Speedy. I appreciate that, mate. But it is tough. I mean, you know, Speedy as well as anybody. You've been doing it a while now. It's a tough business, and anybody who does well at it, deserves our respect. Because it's a tough old business. So, do you know, when I saw this, I sort of had a feeling, sometimes where you get lots and they're sort of sideways but up, where you get that slow grind. I had a feeling it may do that. But the trouble is, if I'd have taken that, it'd have ticked and stopped me out. I'd have been an idiot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, quite tough it is. Take some time. I'm trying to be patient as well, but keep on failing. Do you know what, mate? I'll tell you what. I'd rather fail than not try. And as far as I'm concerned, the people that make it as traders are the people that come back and try again when they fail. A lot of people will fail so many times and they'll give up, but it's the people that keep coming back. You can't learn to trade overnight. It's an impossibility. It's the people that keep coming back, fail, come back, that eventually get there. Just from pure ignorance and saying, I'm not giving up. I ain't letting this beat me and I'm moving forward, And slowly but surely, things do start to change for the good. But yeah, I mean, I've had, pretty well, I've blown way over 100 accounts. And I've had days where I've had my head in my hands, sat on my bed thinking, what am I doing? Do I give up? Do I carry on? And fortunately, I'm a bit lucky in the sense that I can bounce back pretty quickly. A couple of 3 days and I'm raring to go again, I don't like losing and I don't like getting beaten at stuff. And when people say I can't do something, it's the worst thing you can say to me. I'd rather spend the rest of my life failing than give up, so... Jay, well, it was on my chart. Well, it was on my chart, not so on yours. What was, bud? Oh, the second entry long. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, in a lot of cases, it does that. I did. Let me just do it again. I did reload my historic data. There's nothing here at the minute. Quite often they're different. I'm forever getting people mentioning the bars are different, and I'm assuming it's got something to do with your internet speed. One, the data comes from the servers, from the CME group or wherever they come from. I suppose they're going to hit, people's computers at different times. I mean, we might only be talking milliseconds, but it only takes a split second. With the trade copies works pretty quick, but even sometimes that'll miss a trick. So. We're coming up to these highs. We had this quick gap, and then we had a few pushes up, and then it came down strongly. So I expect there to be a little bit of resistance somewhere around here. And then I think, as a rule, I can't remember. I've heard people talk about it before, but doesn't it usually try and fill the gap pretty? We don't often get gaps anymore, do we? But doesn't it try and fill the gap relatively soon? Yeah, do you know what it is, Speedy? I think the more you keep losing and you keep failing, I think sooner or later something clicks in your mind, and as stubborn as we can be, something just clicks in your mind and says this just isn't working, and your mind adapts. You can get that brain of yours to do amazing things, and it will adapt at some point. When our emotions, it's our emotions that are trading most of the time, but at some point, when you're doing it again and again and again, it's like anything, the emotions won't stay as powerful. Things wear off. So I think at some point, something in your brain just goes, it isn't working, and it starts to do things a little different. So, what type of day are we going to have today? I got no idea. See, it could be like one leg, two leg, and then a little bit more. Who knows? I'm not up with the market as much. What's doing what at the moment? I hear rumours about it crashing and stuff, but it's been coming down for a while, isn't it? And then we sort of came a little bit higher there, and then sort of had a bit of a pivot, and up it went. So I blow way too many accounts already. Patience, it is, mate, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? We know the answers, but following the rules it's just so hard, isn't it? You know, I mean, when you're young, when you're kids, and your parents say do this, don't do this, don't do that, you just don't listen. But when you get older and people say do this, you listen, don't you? But then when it comes to trading, it's just it's a complete. It's like all the rules are going out the window. And I think I don't think there's many people who can just naturally switch off those emotions. I suppose there are some people out there who are, you know, in control of their emotions and, you know, can just switch things off and that. There are obviously those type of people, but that ain't me. So, we're having a break. Let's have a look. My system said long. 45s didn't take due to fact. My brain keeps telling me it's Friday, be careful. Yeah. 45s, yeah. Trouble is, with hindsight, it's easy, isn't it? So we've had a drop out there, went straight back to the EMA and rejected quite strongly. So ordinarily, as we know, trend channel, we'd have a break. Trouble is, this could be a bit of a range. It certainly, I did think I put that line there and thinking, well, there's going to be a bit of support here, sorry, resistance, and that reflected that the way we bounced a bit, came above it, and we've dropped out. But maybe we'll have another go. The good thing about failing is you do learn something. You might not sort of think you do, but something clocks up in that brain of yours, doesn't it? And when it's happened a few times, we notice these patterns in these areas. And when you've been caught out a few times, something, you might not, it's like an indirect message, isn't it? You know, when you get that feeling, something doesn't look right here. And it's usually, you know, how many times have you driven to one place in your life and you go back there a few years later and something seems a bit familiar? You know, so it's in that brain somewhere, but it doesn't necessarily manifest as, oh, I've been caught out before here, stay away from this. It usually manifests, it says that something doesn't feel quite right. So whenever I get that feeling, something doesn't look right or feel right, and I see it quite often, actually. I tend to listen to it now, but Lufty. Have we met before? Lufty. Are you a new face, bud? If so, where are you from? I like to know where people are from. Yeah, medium impact news doesn't seem to have much bearing on the trading. It rarely does. So I didn't used to have it up here, and I know a lot of traders only have the high impact US news. But there was, a couple of months ago, there was a little bounce and someone said there was some news, some sort of, I know, Chicago. It might have been that, actually. A little bounce. I wasn't convinced it was news. I thought it might have been something to do with just some stops being taken out. But ever since then, I just err on the side of caution and pop it on there. Say, hello, Lance. How are you? Happy Friday to you. Yeah, the week's going quick. Monday. Was it 1st of May? I know we've got a bank holiday in the UK, but we've got, it's I say Prince Charles, it's King Charles is getting his what do they call it, coronation. I think it's next weekend, I think. Seems quite weird here in God Save Our Gracious King. So hopefully it'd be nice if we can get a couple of legs here, one leg, two leg. One push down, another little down here, be nice, and have a higher low. Second entry, higher low. I'm guessing we're likely to fill this gap So let's just pop that there so I know where the bottom of it is. So I'd expect it to get up here pretty soon, and this might be a... I prefer a second entry, really. I'm not just going to randomly jump in. Okay, that news is now. News came out about 40 seconds ago, so I haven't seen anything that tells me there's any type of news. Yeah, we had this little push down here, but trouble is, there's no entry. You couldn't have gone here. If you wanted to go here, it could tick above and come down for another leg and then push up. So there's no entry there, unfortunately. It is frustrated because we pretty much know it's highly likely to hit that gap. And there is a trend channel here. I don't know, sometimes I think you're safer taking a trade like that rather than waiting for a setup, because sometimes when you get a setup, if it's not perfect, stops you out and they know where your stops are. Not many people will be jumping in there, see, so that it rarely comes down and takes out any off. But you know, if you took a risk and put it in there, I'd say you're certainly going to make a couple of points. But we know it's not the right thing to do, so we tend to not do it. But yeah, if you'd have put the once we're above there, see, I think it's likely we're going to hit that fill that gap. So if you chucked an order in here, you got your 2 points. Be nice to retest this top with a setup to push higher. I am wondering whether once we can fill this gap, we're going to get up to these highs because we're above here straight away. Took that higher low. Yeah. Trouble is, the frustrating thing is seeing Mac take those two dojis, worst signal bars in the world to take, but the market and the trend was that strong yesterday. Is there a point where you say to hell with the rules, it's come back to the email, let's take a trade? Do you know what I mean? That's the bit I can't get my head around about trading sometimes. Sometimes it's like the rules can be set aside. Because you'll never see a video where Mac will say there's a good setup bar there and point to a doji. Sometimes having a second screen helps in the bigger picture. When you say second screen, you mean a blown out version or a different time frame, bud? Higher time frame. Oh, I've just read it, like the 15 minutes. Yeah. I used to. But I got into trouble because if you open another screen with a trade copy, it doubles up on your trade. So I'm going to have to fiddle around with that. I'm pretty sure if you shut the trade copy or open two screens and then open it. It does say in the manual, in strong trends, you can take any pullback. True, but it doesn't mention dojis. I've heard in a strong trend, I've heard Al Brooks say jump on any second long, so there's a bit congested, but it's a second entry long, jump on that. But I don't know. That's the thing. That's the trouble with trading. It's not black and white. There's a lot of grey area. There's sort of a lot of area for confusion and uncertainty. Two for oh, you're done, are you? Good on you, mate. Good on you. I ain't pushing my luck. No, if you're only just starting, you get two, you might as well enjoy your day off. Because sod's law, I did two the other day, was $450 up, took two more trades and lost it all. So I have a rule now, if I take two winning trades, I either pack it in or I switch on to a demo. Or maybe reduced contract size or something like that. Yeah, there wasn't really a safe setup here. As tempting as, you know, as pretty much knew we were going to fill that gap. We're still a tick away from it or two, but we've had a break out of here and a new high, so I don't know, maybe as we're coming down for another leg. The trouble is, on these strong trends day, we had that initial push, didn't we? Then we had a break. So you think a new high, then we had two legs and it started again. So sometimes you're unaware of these strong trend days until they're sort of, you've realised what's happened and they're nearly over. See, we haven't filled that gap yet. I am just wondering whether we're just going to retest this top before we push a bit higher. I don't know, we may keep pushing up a bit more. I think, see, there's no reason why a strong trend couldn't take over. We had a little bit of sideways or a break, push up, and then it does look like one leg, two legs back, and more pushing higher. See if we can get a second entry long here. I'll take this. I know that has played out, but it doesn't mean it can't go higher. I recommend you watch a few Al Brooks videos, especially the markets. I've watched bits of them, but yeah, I did mention the other day I want to start watching a bit more of his. Just, you know, he trades basically very similar to us, doesn't he? But I think obviously there's a lot more setups involved in his, and it's frustrating if that goes up. But yeah, it's always good to have another take on the market. Maybe, you know, when you get, like you say, when we get strong trends days, you can sort of bend the rules a little bit and take anything back at the EMA. So yeah, I will watch a few. Trouble is, if you jump in here, I've got a feeling that it may make another leg down and then move up again. So this could be one leg, two legs, and then maybe a bit higher. I don't know. Let's have a look at that. Okay. Actually, funnily enough, that actually looks quite nice. Touch a bunch of times there, and it's actually touching really nice on the back. So you've got to be careful taking trades if that is the channel, because you're taking them at here, which might work, but then now we're at the top, we may work across. So that sort of works quite nice, that. Touched, but clearly touching here, and the backside it's fitting nice. You wouldn't fit that nicely every time like that if there wasn't other traders with this same channel, because obviously as they're riding up, they're taking bits of profit. But yeah, but I will look at some more stuff. I tend to do a bit of study time over the weekend. I do look back at some old. I go back over some of Mac's videos. Just randomly, I'll just pick something, but I'm a big believer in keep going over the basics. Okay, could have a second entry long, yeah. So there's no reason why we couldn't have another trending day, strong trending day. This might just be a bit of a... It does look like one leg, two legs. I have measured it. It's a little out, but... it's not far out, so it is feasible. It could be two legs back, push up, break, new high, two legs back, and then maybe some more. If you take out the news overshoots, it fits both sides. Yeah, it was there, the news, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't think it's far off, is it? I hold it about there. Let's just check. I could take that a fraction lower. There we go. I can squeeze that a little bit. Bring that down a bit. There we go. Look at that. That top side is fitting like a glove. Beautiful there, beautiful there, beautiful there. Okay. So if one side fits, I think it's more important than the bottom side, obviously, because this is where you take your trade. But if one side fits, that tells you that traders aren't buying here and sellers take over. So even if one side fits and the other side's pretty good, obviously they're working there for a reason. That's because other traders have got the same chart, the same channel. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. It doesn't randomly do something. It does because traders make it that way. They trade it that way. So we could have another grind up. Be interested to see if we get above these highs. What happens? And there was a second entry long there. Trouble is, it's a little bit congested and we're off the EMA. So I've taken trades like that before and they'll tick up, break out the bottom, stop you out, come down, push up nice and bullish and go in the direction you want them to. Okay, that's fitting there nice actually. I do wonder whether we'll do a bit more sideways into this side of it, but it's actually moving up quite rapidly. Since the bottom, we've moved up 26, 25, 26 points. Hey, Nick. How you doing, buddy? I was going to talk to you, actually. You mentioned something about not being able to message. If I take off the... you've got to be subscribed to comment. If I take that away, mate, you should be right there. Yeah. So it was yeah. I don't know if you just come on, Nick. I was talking about yesterday. It was an interesting day yesterday. So I have a couple of seasoned traders on. Because I think that the trouble is when people start making a decent living, they tend to not spend as much time around the social media areas than when you're learning. So it's nice when people, you know, hook up and come and have a chat. It was nice to see Daniel in. I mean, clearly a seasoned trader now, clearly a nicely profitable trader, and Nate, the Israeli guy, the gorilla guy. How he just hopped on, yeah. Does make you wonder, doesn't it? I thought we'd fill that gap. Unfortunately, I did have a look here because there was a failure there, but it's just congested, so it just wasn't safe to take. There was a second entry long there, but it was just as the market was open, and it was a bit congested, so I left that. The trouble is, we had a break. We came down here, but there's no real setup. You know, pretty much know it's going to go up there, but the trouble is, it can tick above, trigger you, make another leg down here, stop you out, and you've got perfect second entry long. So it's almost filled that gap. I think we're a tick away from filling the gap there. So chat was heavy here. Yeah, it was nice. It's nice. Sometimes I like a nice chat. It's nice to have a nice conversation, isn't it? Because trading can be a bit of a lonesome old sort of game, can't it, really? A lot of people spend, you know, a lot of time sat in a room by yourself, and it just, you know, excuse me, it can just be a bit boring sometimes. So, I mean, you know me, I don't say a lot. I'm a pretty quiet type of guy, aren't I? What is this? So you fill the gap. You see, when the market opened, would have been last night's tea time-ish US time, market just dropped and created a gap. Well, my understanding of it is that market generally likes to fill that gap. So obviously we had a push down, we had a couple of legs up, and then we had this leg down, and we've slowly grinded up now, and we're filling this gap. But you can see where the market opened, because normally when a bar closes, that sort of red bar there closed, and it opened there, pushed up a little bit, and then pushed down, and then when that closed, you can see there was a little gap there as well. It jumped down a little bit, but normally where one finishes, one opens. Where one finishes, one opens. Where one finishes, but occasionally you'll get a gap, a little one there if the market moves quick, but that was a quick drop, that. So generally markets like to fill the gaps pretty quick. So there you go. Okay, there is, if you call that a new low, yeah, it's a bit risky. Yeah, I think Speedy took that one, didn't he? Did he take that one? I think he jumped in there, I think he may have took that one. I mean, it was a second entry long, just a bit congested, but the bit that put me off it most of all was it was right where the market opens, and just on the odd occasion, when you get sort of traders dropping in positions for the day, you can get a little bit of a spike up and down a little bit, and I've lost a couple of trades like that, so I tend to avoid just the first minute or two. Okay, yeah, anytime, mate. Anytime. Okay, so we are literally, we've missed that by a tick, which I don't think is a major issue. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, sometimes the market moves quick. It'll drop down. Occasionally, when it's really volatile, occasionally you'll get gaps. There was a small one here somewhere there, just there. Because normally where that finishes, it'll move across and a new one will open. But obviously it dropped a tick there. But then it came back and filled it, so. Okay. So, it's clearly a channel working to me. Touched here, touched a bunch of times here. We've not come back yet, but that's okay. But it's working along the backside perfectly, which tells me if one side's working perfectly, the other side has to be, I think. Has to be more relevant, I think. But possible second entry long. A little bit wicky here, which what do we do now? See, up, down, not sure, not sure. Are we pushing up some more? Gap's almost filled. It's a tick away. Does that make a difference? I don't know. Who knows? Are we carrying up some more, or are we bank? Yeah, it's probably going to do a little bit of sideways stuff there, which is a sort of good indicator of there's some uncertainty. No setup there anyway, just a couple of almost doges. Yeah, did you notice that, Nick? Did you notice that Mac put two high probability trades as doges? Did you notice that? Did you? I did. I think it was Joe mentioned it on the Facebook group, and I said if I put a chart on there with those marked as trades, I'd have got slaughtered. Okay, so that gap's filled now. So are we pushing up or are we coming down? Once we get above the high of the day, see at the moment I'm not thinking range at the moment. Although we've had this push down and then push up, but we may have another sort of another bullish day again. You never know. We've pushed up. We've had this break. It could carry on up. It's possible. I don't tend to do this, but I know some people do, but I don't know, who knows. Sort of fits, doesn't it? In a way. Okay, let's get rid of that. There's our gap filled. We don't need that. Why are you not highlighting? It's moving. Beautiful. Okay, pushing up to the new highs. The new highs are there. In fact, I take that up a bit. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like it's going to break the high of the day, I'd say. It's definitely working that channel nice, actually. Couple of ticks and we're away. Be interesting to see whether we are going up a bit more. Okay, official open. Well, overnight open, official morning open. Okay, so we've made a new high there. Could be another strong day. It's not held back there at all. It's pushed straight up, strong right above there. It's finished more or less on the top. That's not it's not an overshoot, that. Got your 2 points. Good on you, mate. Where'd you go? Here somewhere, did you? Yeah, I mean, it sort of looks like it, doesn't it? But okay, yesterday's highs. It may have another movement, a moving up day. You just don't know. This looks like a bigger overall trend here, and this looks like a break of it. So look. Something like that. Perhaps it is in because it started off like that, didn't it? And then moved into this section. So it could be something like that. And then we've had a break of it. Well, we've had a couple of legs, a break of it, and now it's pushing up again. So who knows? If it breaks above there, it could continue to carry on. We've got an overshoot now, so it's possible. I think it's quite likely we're going to hit that high at some point, but we have an overshoot there, so might correct and go higher, or it could break and come down. Yeah, there wasn't real setups there. The only second entry I can see was there, but it's congested and you got the open. Nothing else really. You can't trade any of that really. I don't know. It came down one leg down. But the trouble is, if you take any of those, it could break above it and then come down to the bottom. A perfect second entry long and stop you out. Wasn't really a setup there. You might have gone one push down, two push down, but it's a doji. You might have took a chance, but trouble is, my experience of taking chances, I tend to get in far more trouble than I bargained for. So sometimes I'm better off. I'd much rather wait for a good trade, because if I take a risky trade and lose it straight away, I'm playing catch up. Then I've got to do one more trade just to get to break even. And we all know how little setups there are at the moment. Okay, a little shoot up there, and we just broke yesterday's highs. So let's see what happens now. Yeah, a little shoot there, didn't it? I think there may have been a couple of people who shorted that. Oh, another little spike. Wow. It could be another strong. We had the same sort of thing yesterday. It could be a really strong day again. It's certainly not holding back at all. We did that yesterday, didn't we? We pushed. We had this normal trend. We had a little spike, a normal trend like that. We had a bit of a break, and then it just rocketed up again, and it just went up even quicker. Got 57.50 for 2 points, but the damn thing's still going. Yeah, trouble is, you wouldn't have known that, would you? You'd have think when it hit that high, you certainly think it comes an obstacle like that. You think it might do 2 or 3 bars next to each other, but it just rams straight through it. It is frustrating. Same again. We seem to be getting a good strong move again. Trouble is, it's easy to think we've got a good strong move and then jump in at a second entry up here, and it comes down, takes you out. Could be another squeeze day, yeah. Trouble is, as much as we knew it was going up yesterday, there still wasn't a massive amount of setups. There was a few riskier setups, but no what I would call a real solid setup. Trouble is, you know, you might say nice strong, let's jump in here or let's jump in here, but when it goes up at that angle, it doesn't usually do it for long before we have a quick sharp pullback. So, and not just that, it's that far away from the EMA. Look at that. Trouble is, I've jumped in these before and guaranteed if you sit there and watch it, it just keeps going up. The second you jump in it, it's slow, it stops and then comes back down. Okay, so possible little break there. I'm not convinced it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's all right. Befars Highlands, greetings from Morocco. How are you? I haven't seen you for a while, have you? Nice to see you back. Morocco, North Africa. Wonderful. I bet you're quite. Where are you warm up there or down there? You're down there, aren't you? Well, up there. Yeah, I bet you're quite warm at the moment. Full blown melt up. Yeah. I don't know if you can call that an overshoot. It's created a whole new set of rules, isn't it? There, strong buying, isn't it? That, especially when you come to the top, you think it would fizzle out here, but it just kept on going. You know, even when it hit the yesterday's highs, it still went another what 6-7 points, maybe a bit more. But that's the trouble. And then you get in there, you think here we go again. You jump in there, turns to red, comes down, stops you out. Trouble is, if you get a second entry long, what do? It could keep going. I would much prefer a correction or a pullback or something to get into a trade now, especially after that. If you raise the channel, the top looks like the midline now. So that again. If you raise the channel top, it looks like the midline. Yeah, trouble is, you can't really because you're on about doing that. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Trouble is, I have to I don't know who does that. I tend to do this because I leave it there and just say that's obviously an overshoot, which it is because obviously the channel's working there, so it's an overshoot. So I have to expect the fact that it could come back to the main push higher, or overshoots can result in a reversal. So, I mean, that is strong buying. Now, I don't want to get into a trade right at the top there. I would much prefer it to come back. I don't even be comfortable retesting that. I'd much prefer to come down to at least the top of this. You just don't know, CD. You see, there's a failure there. Is it going to keep going up, or is it going to? Hasn't hit the EMA. It has gone up really steeply there, so it's no confirmation yet, but potentially. Yeah, I mean, what I tend to do is err on the side of the caution, because that can result in a reversal, an overshoot. In some cases, you'll get an overshoot this side, and it'll come back and have an overshoot the opposite side, and then carry on as normal. But if I'm not sure, I always like to err on the side of caution because it just saves my ass a little bit. Trouble is, you may have people short in there. You'll definitely have people short in there back to the EMA. So this could be a possible failure. So it may come down, or it may just push right up through that lot. But at some point, the quicker it goes up, the quicker it comes down. And if you get into a trade, it can really get stung. But it can go into a more of a steeper channel. It's a little bit early that at the moment. I'd much prefer to come down here somewhere. There was a second entry long there, but I wouldn't be comfortable in that trade now. It's just too far for the EMA for safety, I think, especially after that big push. Yeah. I mean, sometimes when you think the market can't go anymore, it just carries on going, and then going and going and going sometimes. Don't forget, guys, incidentally, the 90% finishes today, midnight tonight. Midnight. Oh, hold on a minute. It doesn't. When? Oh, no. It's Monday. The first. When's the first? Monday. Okay, yeah, that said that. Yeah, we got today and Monday. 90% off finishes. Yeah, Monday. So you got today and Monday. Okay. Midnight Eastern Standard Time, I think. To be honest with you, I can't see it being long before they have an 80% off. Because after you're used to getting 80 and 90%, there's no way you're going to pay 50% off. I haven't paid 50% off for maybe 6 months. People just don't do it. So, I mean, I've said all along, I'll be surprised. I won't be shocked at all if they go, okay, 8% off, flat forever, that's it, no more. So, it's stalling a little bit here. So, we've had a breakout of this channel. You'd expect a new high. I think is Replicanto better than Apex? Yes, it is. And I'll tell you why. I've had both. And Replicanto, I've had 3 updates in the last month. I've had 2 in the last 48 hours. So Apex, I've never had. I've had Apex now for about 4 months, 5 months. And they don't support it, and you don't get updates. I've not had an update anyway. But I had an update for... Still got the email somewhere. I had an update for Replicanto yesterday and 1 2 days before. Did I delete it or have I still got it? No. I'll delete it. Let me have a look. No, there it is at the bottom. Yeah, there you go. Flowbots Replicanto product update Tuesday. And I had one. I did have one yesterday somewhere. That's somewhere, but yeah, it's supported, and you get updates. So yeah, they're a software company, Replicanto. Apex aren't. So people have said to me in the past that Apex is a cut down version or an older version. But if you do buy it incidentally, it's the same price, $150. But if you look at the bottom right, you get 10% off if you use that code, which takes it down to $135. So it's $15 cheaper than Apex is there. So it's there if you want to use it. So hey Sam, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Replicanto work with TradeStation. I'm not sure, mate. You'll have to go on their website and check. I don't know is the answer. I don't know. Just go on their website. I think it's Flowbots or something or other, but yeah, I'm not sure. How are you getting on, Sam? Did you notice who we had on the channel yesterday? The gorilla guy. Came on, was chatting for about half an hour. I got so fed up with Apex trade copy, it kept reversing my orders. Apex refunded my... Did they really? Oh, I'm glad you told me that one. What did you do? Just say you're not happy with it? Can I have my money back? Did they give you it? Because I'd like my money back because I think it's a pain in the arse. Did they really? Oh, Angela. Got me excited now. I quite fancy having $150 put back into my bank. Right, answer me 2 questions. How long have you had it? And what did you say to him? Yeah. I will honestly say a couple of times with Replicanto hasn't triggered my trade. One of them. But I think that's purely down to the speed of the market. But I've had no other problems. I haven't had that problem where if you bring a stop down and one hasn't triggered, it hits your stop and turns into a buy order. I haven't had that. So occasionally it won't trigger, but that's purely down to the speed of market. I show documented errors to them. Oh, did you? Oh, I might send them an email and just say I'm fed up with it. Give me my money back. Yeah, I think if you sell a product, you've got to support it and you've got to update it, especially when it comes to software. Because it is a pain. Oh, you've had it a while then? Ah. Oh, I might get you to write to him on my behalf, and I'll give you we'll go 50-50, Angela. Right? See if you can get my money back for me. I might just say I'm fed up with it causing problems. Did you tell him you'd moved to? Oh, you haven't moved to Replicant over yet. I showed them documented errors. I might write to them, see what they say. Okay, so we've had a break. There was a second entry there, but I just didn't like that. We've pushed up higher, but see, look what happens. The ATR is quite low. Are we going to continue to grind up? Let me just see if we're moving up in a different angle. I'm going to put that there like that, and just think maybe we're spiking. Ooh, what do I think of that? Maybe a spiking channel. Yeah, I just haven't looked much into his style. I like him, mate, because he goes for a lot more points and he's got the balls to sit there and just let it run and let it run. And I just want to spend more time. I want to try and get more money out of a trade, because if you take a trade for 10 points, you've got like a week's worth of money there. So I'm just wondering whether we're going to have another strong day today. It's possible. There's no reason why we can't. Yeah, he's all right. He makes a lot of money. I watched him take a trade for and made $8,500 in one trade, and he said he was trading his small account. So anybody who can trade and make good money like that has got my respect. If we get a second entry long, I might take that, because we've had this push up, we've had a break, and we've gone up again. So there's just no sign of it slowing down. Look how strong it pushed up there. Sorry, my Wi-Fi glitched. Missed a few minutes here. Oh, you've missed it all. Oh, we were talking about you, Angela. We were saying horrible things. No, I was just... what did I ask? I can't remember. No, I was just going to write to them and see what they say, but I'll just say it's just a pain. I've had problems with it. I'm sure. Yeah, but we'll behave ourselves now. We noticed you dropped off for a second, so we did some shouting and some spitting, and now we've got it out of our systems now, so we're all right. It could be, mate. Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? Look how strong it's pushed up there, and you think, if anything, it would come tumbling down, but it's not. So the trouble is, if you think good, strong day and you jump in with maybe a semi-good, semi-okay trade, you might get stopped out. But if we can get back to here, we'll see. But yeah, it does look like it could do. To me, it looks like we've had this push up. It looks almost like we've had this break, new high. Let's have a look. 2 legs, and then some more, which is what we had here. We had this break, 2 legs, and then we sort of wind up again. But I am getting a feeling. Trouble is, that's where you want to be in. You just have to be careful. It's not some form of... somebody mentioned that, actually. In fact... what sort of candlesticks do you have on your chart, mate? I have... see, it could be a 2-tier chart. I'm going to leave that a minute. Sorry. 2000 tick chart. And all that means is, as opposed to a normal time frame where each one of these is 5 minutes, all that represents is 2000 trades. And then it moves on to the next one. And you can see the trades there, that number there, counting down from 2000. So when it gets to 0, obviously new bar. But apparently, this style we trade, the 2000 tick chart gives more accuracy. Okay, there's a little bit of a So I hope that helps, Charles. But yeah, I believe it's close to a 5-minute chart, I believe. But don't quote me on that. Somebody who mentioned this earlier that it might be. I've pushed that up now and it's sitting on the top, so it may be a 2-tiered channel. I'm not a fan of doing that, but it's still going up anyway. So the only issue I have with this is it could break and come down to this side. Push, we've come back. We've gone up once, gone up twice. So yeah, it's just 2,000 tick chart, just stands for 2,000 trades. But God, it's frustrating, isn't it? There was a second. See, if I'd have realised how strong it was, I may have taken that one. Because if you can get in some of this early and get a few points out of it, you're done then, aren't you? Whereas obviously the higher it goes, the sort of less reliable it comes, I think. Could I get it on TradingView? The 2,000 tick chart. I'm not sure, bud. You can try. I don't know, but if you click, obviously not. If you got anything like this which tells you your time frame, just click on it and have a look. But I've got minutes and seconds, and I can adjust these to whatever I want. Obviously daily, weekly, monthly, and so on. But we use just a 2,000 tick chart, so it just stands for 2,000 trades. But it's supposed to be more accurate. Now, our sort of illustrious leader, Mac, who teaches this style, was the one that, it's just made it as part of the course. That's what we use. TV does not have a tick chart. Oh, does it not? There you go. TradingView. Yeah, actually, I do use TradingView occasionally, just to chart for. I trade a little bit of cryptos now and again. Well, more swing them a little bit. If we can get back to the bottom here, then I might be interested in just trying to get a few points and get done. But it does look like a 2-tier. It's just unusual that there's nothing in here. So, in fact, it might be. In fact, I'm probably better just doing that, actually, and just saying that this is just a push up in a separate channel, because it happened yesterday. We had the same sort of thing. We had that initial channel, and then we had this break, and then it went up at a slightly different angle, which it's doing now. So let's see if we can get something, but not get too stupid. Getting some heavy resistance up here. Agree with Lance. Would take a perfect entry at this point. Would take a perfect or a slightly less perfect, you mean? B Matt's got 2-tiered. Oh, is he really? That'll do, mate. Okay, the only downside to having that is it could come back into this side. So I'm guessing, has he got his from here? Let me have a look. Where? I can't see Mac's chart anywhere. Hold on. We haven't got it yet. Bullish bar there, but not close to the EMA, unfortunately. Tell you what, let me go on to his website. Yeah, see, there was a little bit sideways. There was a bullish bar there, but it does seem like it's going to be similar to yesterday. Only trouble, at some point we move from this side to this side, we're likely to come back and then make a break. And if we do, we may get another grind up. He hasn't emailed yet, but let's see if he's got it on something. '28th, okay. He's got it on his chart. I just haven't got an email for it yet. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. Touching this. Oh, yeah, it's touching the same place, though. It's touching the same place. He's touching here, and it's incorporating them, and it's touching there. So it goes, I think, like that. Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay, is that right? It's touching that bottom red one. And it touches there. Yeah, spot on. That'll do, mate. Thank you. Thanks, Mac. Thanks, who said that. Right, this is my point. Nice second entry now. Trouble is, I don't like that push down. It may come down to this side. See, the trouble is, it's a funny angle, that, isn't it? You got to be so careful here. Ooh, I kind of hope it finishes crap. I'm not a fan of that. I prefer it to come to here. Yeah. Trouble is, as bullish as this is, sometimes you can still get caught out. Yeah, that it goes from there. It sort of goes from there, really, as well. Yeah, so if you had taken that one, it was too far away anyway. But you know, sometimes when you see it going up and up and up, you lower your standards and you get caught out. Market can bite you on the arse. Okay, so that clearly working. Yeah, the only slight difference is that's coming at a more of a sort of an inward angle. Yeah, tempting, but you got 4 sap side by side there. Just too risky. That is as nice as much as I want to jump in, and it may just shoot up. That it's just that's got alarm bells, because we could have one leg, a little bit of sideways in another leg, drop out the bottom, push up, nice and bullish, and off we go again. And prices, EMA's flat, and it holds in prices with that alarm bells straight away. Gosh, I'm gonna say I am getting very disciplined here. It feels a little bit unnatural. But I'm quite happy to turn a trade down, especially when it looks like that. Yeah, it does look like it might be one of these days where it just keeps on going. That's a lot of strong buying, and it's kind of slow grinding. It's steepish, then a little bit slower, then a bit steep, then a bit slower. It has triggered that, but I'd be nervous as hell in that trade. I have to admit, for Friday trade, I was at good. Money done, yeah, absolutely. This has got alarm bells for me. This has. We could have one leg, 2 legs. I'm not saying we're gonna, but if we can get a higher low, then I may have a go at that. But I'm just not a fan of that. It may come down. We may get a leg and a leg. It sort of is a second entry long, in all fairness, but it's just that's got congestion. Okay, so you got a new high. Try go once, try go twice. That's a failure, which is triggered. If it pushes above this, I kind of like that to go higher then. So order submitted already. If that finishes bullish, I'm quite happy to take that higher, and I'll take it on that engulfing bar because the failure has triggered. Okay. That's what I mean. We could get a leg and a leg. There may be some traders taking that as a short. I want that to push below there, really. Trouble is, when it goes like this and it does grind up, and you're eager to not miss it, you can drop your standards a little bit and get yourself in a spot of trouble. So you've still got to be careful. If that ticks below there, then that might trigger in maybe a couple of shorts, and if it pushes up, then we've got this new low. There'll be a higher low there, but I want it to push out really before I think about going long. Okay, that's triggered. I like that. So could have a couple of legs.
Order submitted.
Sure which angle I want to attack this if it works. Let's see if we can get a couple of legs out of this. So one leg, two legs. That's what I mentioned there. Sometimes when you're in this top channel, you think all you got to do is buy the bottoms of the channels, but if there's a two-tier channel, it might not just come to the bottom, it could drop out. I like that. One leg, two legs. I prefer that to drop out a bit and then push up. Come down and touch my leg. Come on. There we go. Nicely done. Beautiful. That's a shame. Okay.
Order cancelled.
One leg, two legs. Now, the trouble is, so if this pushes up, I'm not going to make the mistake like I did yesterday. We had a second entry.
Order cancelled.
We had a second entry yesterday and I took it was on the break. What I should have done is wait for the higher low. Okay, so that I wasn't expecting. So we could do the same as we did yesterday. If you look yesterday, we had something very similar. And I got caught in a trade. This here. It came back and then pushed up really strongly. So if we can push up and get back into a bit of a range again. So let's remove that. In fact, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be at 2 minutes. Okay, it's doing something very similar to yesterday. Very similar. So if you took that second entry long and you're still in there, it's taking you out. If you took that one, it's taking you out. It did very much the same yesterday. You just whip over. We had that quick push down. I got caught here, second entry long. That strong push down, a little bit of a break and a low, and then we pushed up strong and then carried on grinding. So let's see what happens here. If it does keep going, then I'm convinced then we're in a strong trend. It's pushed down below here, but then pushed strongly up. So now, this may be where there's a few shorts thinking, oh, short-term trend channel, break, new low. So this is the area where you can trap some shorts here and push higher. So we got a new low, try a low one, see if we can push up above here. So if it is a strong trend day, we should keep on pushing up. It's hard to know, see, really. We could have a push down, we could have one leg, two leg, and come down further. It's hard to say. This is getting nasty. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. Almost the same thing. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Although we had a little bit of sideways, and then it pushed out. If it does push up strongly and we can get a pullback, I'll think about going along again. But at the moment, we've dropped out and we've pushed back to the EMA and dropped again. So it could be a second entry short. For Lewin, I think using the ATR to default is not that good. But I do scalp, that's why. Yeah, I don't use the ATR, but the only reason I use the ATR is it just gives you an idea of what size the average size of these bars are. Just gives you a bit of information on your risk, but I don't use it as in use it to trade, really. Obviously, this tells me what the current bar is. That tells me what the previous bar is, but... Right, interesting. Now this to me looks like it is going up a bit. So we've had try to go low once. See if we can get a failure. See if we can trap some shorts here. So we've had this push down, try to go once, try to go twice. If that triggers and fails, I'll go long above that. I'm hoping that comes bearish and triggers. As tempting as it is just to jump, you pretty much got a fair idea we're going to push up and at least make a new high. It is frustrating when it just goes without you. It'd be nice to get a little bit of a pullback here, a failure. But it could be a second entry short. If that... I prefer that to be... Come on, drop a bit more. Trigger, at least. Trigger, come on. Drop down below here. And I'll take that as a failure.
Order submitted.
Come on. So tempting. See, you may have trapped some shorts there, actually. Trouble is, it's still stalling a little bit. Come on, get in. Come on, get in. Second entry short. Come on, trigger. Yeah, I am, B. I know it can happen. What I'm doing, though, is giving the option for a second entry short to trigger. So if there's any shorts in it, they're likely to take them, yeah? Now, it might come short, but if it pushes above here, it's a failure now, see? So if it does push up now, I like to give shorts the option to get into a trade, because it may come down. It may shoot down, but... So you've got a second entry short there, which is triggered. I'm tempted to get into this. Trouble is, it is a little bit sideways, so I've got to be aware of that. Just a little bit. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I'm going to be extra careful. Maybe down for a second leg, possibly. Yeah, I'll wait for it to push up and give us a bit more, maybe. Well, I was hoping to maybe trap some shorts there, so we've got to push up there and out. We might get a bit higher. It is a failure, that, isn't it? I'm so tempted to take that. If I put it above there, triangle low, one triangle low, try failure, push up. It is a failure, but I'd much rather put it there, just for safety. Something doesn't feel right. I'd rather give it a chance to start working up again. In fact, no, I think that's okay. It is a failure. All right, let's wait for it to start pushing.
Order cancelled.
Okay, that's triggered. So, failed second entry short. Yeah, it is going up, isn't it? Okay.
Order
I'm going to take it
filled.
as a limit order. It's pushed up strongly. That's where I was going to take it. 7. It's a little bit more risk than I wanted, but I think it's worth it. Try and go low one strike, so it's failure. It's also a second entry short, which is triggered. Hopefully it'll fail. Don't want to be too greedy. See if we can get a couple of points out of it. Hopefully it might just give us a slow grind. Let's go about here somewhere. Does look like it's going to just keep pushing up, doesn't it? I don't want to be too greedy, but I'd rather just get... If it breaks above here, perhaps it might be... we'll see. I'm just going to keep it tight. Let's just take it at these highs. Might break a bit more, but I'd rather just be a bit... Take it there.
Order filled.
Okay, I'll do me. 3.5 points. I'd have preferred a bit more, but I'm not a fan of it coming back, although it does look like it's probably going to grind. So yeah, okay. So we're 350 up, so that's a good. I mean, it did go to about 5, but I don't want to lose the account. My trading big, yeah. Okay, so that's all right. That's a nice start to the day anyway. So happy days. So it might go higher, but you know, the trouble is, what I don't want to think is we've had this and we're going to come back and do it again. So I don't want to pull back here and risk it coming back to the EMA and losing my points. So I did take it on a limit order, probably a few ticks higher than I wanted to. But what I wanted to do is have this push down. So you're going to have traders thinking we've got to push down. 1, 2 legs back. So second entry short, which is triggered. Yeah. So then I'm thinking new low, try to go low once, try to go low twice, failure. So if it breaks above there, it will take out any possible shorts. And if anyone was short there, it took off. And it's probably going to continue up. But I'm just not a fan of giving up some of my points. And there's 2 main reasons for that. One, you know, I've made money trading and I want to do it again. And I just don't want to be too cheeky now. When I build my accounts up nice, so if I got, say, $10,000-$20,000 in my account, then I may decide to, you know, take it to break even and then see if we can push it higher. But it's just stalling at these highs. So I just, you know, sometimes when you hold back and think, oh, I'll give it a bit more, and then, you know, it takes you out and you think, why didn't I? So at least I can guarantee I'm $350 up, and that's on 5 accounts as well. So if you can do that one today, you're doing well. Well done, Lance. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that, Charles. Nicely done. Trouble is, when we have these breaks, you think a new high. But what I wanted to do, because somebody mentioned short, and I have to be aware that it is possible it may come down. So what I did is let it go down. I let it have a break. It went up to the EMA once, and it tried to push up twice, and ended on a relatively bearish bar. Now, I wouldn't take that above the EMA, but a lot of people might go, oh, first entry, second entry, maybe it's going to come down. So I wanted to give that second entry chance to trigger, which it did. Now, if it pushes above this, there's going to be some stops there. So any shorts will be taken out the trade, and any longs that went above here or here would push up, and that's what happened. So I always like to give. I heard Albrook say once that if you are in a position that you see the trade not panning out, as the trade take the profits. Yeah. Now, if it's anything like yesterday and it keeps going up, then yeah. Now, if this continues to keep pushing up, then I'll look for another trade, sort of, you know, maybe not so strict, but and it might continue to pop up, but sometimes you're better off staying safe. Now, I've got 5 accounts at the moment. They're not all PA, so if you add 5 PA accounts straight away, there's $1,750 you've made in the day in one trade. That's all you need. I'd be happy with that. I'd be over the moon if I could do that every day. Imagine having 10 accounts and making one trade for 3.5 points and making $3,500 a day. I mean, that's serious money. And if you can do that consistently, you can scale up. Pay yourself, you know, maybe a couple of thousand from each account a month and let the rest just build up. So we are struggling just a touch. I didn't expect it to just burst straight through. But what might happen is, you know, sometimes if it's struggling to get up, it may decide to sort of go a little bit sideways. So this might be a correction, in which case it may come down and bounce off here. And that'll take me out. So sometimes it's just not risking this. Let me have a look. Yeah. Yeah, see, it's possible. It is possible. I don't think it will, but it's possible that it might do this for a while. So look. Look at that. It's sat on there a few times, sat back there a few times, touched, 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 touched. It may come back to the EMA and bounce higher, or it may come down. You think about it. My stop would have been here. And I came in a little bit late, didn't I? I wanted to come in above here. So I came in here, didn't I? Yeah, probably a tick higher than I wanted to. Sometimes the quickest way in is just to click buy, and it worked, rather than mess around right click and all that sort of stuff. So at the moment, that's where I got in. Look what's happening. Now I'll be thinking, what, how stupid. Now, if it does continue to keep going higher and higher and higher, then I may decide maybe just put it to break even and I'm not risking anything. See if it can go over. See, look at this now. I think that's a good chance that's going to hit my stop there. So coming out there was a good decision, actually. As soon as we started coming back a bit, took the safe option. Right, okay. I'll be kicking myself now because I've just been taking out that stop. Taking out that trade. So that was a good decision there. I thought, because it was, the trouble is when you have this strong trend like this, you tend to think it's definitely going to move on, and it might not. This could even turn into be a range day. It could end up doing something like this. And then it might come down. You just don't know, do you? I didn't expect that. But there you go. So, you know, sometimes if you're thinking, oh, nice strong trend, oh, we're coming out, well, a big strong, I'm going to sit here and hold on to that and ride it up, which I've done before. I did a few weeks ago. And then look at that. Market drops, what, 15 points? 15 points in about a minute and a half. So if you'd have taken any, you know, if you'd have taken there or there, but it was a good decision to do that. So at least now I can finish the day on a nice profit. If you can do that, imagine doing that on 10 accounts, $3,500 a day. It's not a huge amount of money to get in a day, but you don't need a lot. Let's have a look. So it was there, wasn't it? I went, so it was a failure. Failed second entry short. That one or that one, I don't suppose it really matters. The reason I liked it is because we had the second entry short there. 3.5 points on it. A failed second entry short. Failed second entry short. Secondary short, took 1 tick above the second entry short trap. Beautiful. Okie dokie. I need to watch a little bit more Al Brooks, actually. He makes me laugh. He doesn't look like a trader, does he? He just likes, he almost looks like you did the old granddad, doesn't he? He looks like he should be stuck in an allotment, sitting outside a shed with a pair of wellies out and a spade in his hand, doesn't he? He does. Yeah, so this could be a range day. We've actually bounced in a few places, which is why I've dragged that up. Yeah, he does remind you of your sort of favourite old granddad, doesn't he? I mean, it is still possible. We could make another leg up. It's always possible. We did something that yesterday. We had that trend, didn't we? And then we had a sort of a couple of odd breaks. But I looked at I was watching Mac's video the hours of the morning, and it could be a sort of a range day today. We had that big push up yesterday, and we're out. We're still out of that channel, aren't we? That channel we've been in for the last 14 months. You're right. But all jokes aside, the man is very knowledgeable. Al Brooks, yeah, absolutely. I don't doubt it for a second. Yeah, he was a doctor, wasn't he? I did sort of look into him. He trained as a doctor. I believe Mac learnt this from him and obviously adapted it to his own sort of style. But I have watched bits of him, but I think you've got to pay for his course, haven't you? But I do keep meaning to have a look, because it was him that I heard say that if we get a trend like yesterday, just jump on any second entry long, even if it might not be a great signal bar. If it's at the EMA or the bottom of the channel and it's a second entry long, jump on it. So yeah, he definitely have some useful tips. But I've read about him a little bit, and he is one of those natural traders, I think, isn't he? He looks like he's incredibly focused and patient and disciplined to the T, I think. But I think you can do that. You can be disciplined in that. But I think then, once you've gone through so many years, you move on to a different level there, where you become that in tune with the market that certain setups you might not even need. If you've seen certain patterns and certain things happen again and again and again. I mean, for instance, this. You know, if you've confirmed this as a channel, and it certainly is, and you say this all the time, it'll go up so far, it'll go sideways, 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 right till it gets to the EMA. You'll get a reasonably good signal bar, and then off it'll go. But generally, you wouldn't trade that because you're in a range. But for instance, that was a doji. But if you look yesterday and watch Mac's chart, he marked 2 trades which were both dojis. Now, that isn't because they were crap signal bars. It was purely because he was that confident what the market was doing that he put a trade there. Because if you trade these markets all day, every day for as many years as Mac is, you'll just know in a strong trend, you know, when it comes back to these areas, especially where the EMA, I mean, look at that, the EMA and the bottom of the trend channel meet perfectly. And even those 2 bars, you might have just jumped in here, and look what happened if you took it. So when you've been doing it as many years as, you know, the likes of Mac and Al Brooks out, you'll just know when to jump into these. Okay, so interesting. So we've had this little short-term trend channel. We had a break, 1, 2, push it down to a new low. Possible second entry short. I can't go short at the moment. I don't know what's happening, whether we're coming down some more or whether we're pushing up. No idea. Bad news on US banking. Don't tell me another bank's collapsed. Which means my crypto might start pumping some more. Let's have a look. A little bit of a drop today. I noticed yesterday I picked up a few more cryptos a couple of days ago, and it dropped 10% in the space of about 2 minutes. I nearly had to change my underwear, but I'm used to the volatility of it now, and within a couple of days it got back to where it was. But I used to be like one of the rest. It used to drop and I used to panic and sell, and then it used to go up and I used to buy, and then it used to drop. I'd always pick it on the top of the up or the lower the down. Yeah, I wasn't a very good successful crypto trader, I've got to say. I just tend to buy bits now and then let them run. These bull markets, when they really start, can make you an absolute fortune. There is I've heard what's his name? The old guy. The trader Warren Buffett saying bull markets make you wealthy, bear markets make you rich. I mean, if you look at things like Solana, Solana was at $260 at some point. It's about $23 now. So if you bought it now, even if it gets back to all-time highs, you're going to 12x your money, 13x your money. At the highest, I think Cardano was $3. It's about 40 cents now. You can seriously make some money off these cryptos. But But you've just got to buy a bunch of them, a small amount, and just leave them, and let them run. Okay, so there's triangle low on, triangle twice past failure. Is this going to push back up again? No idea. Well, it is possible. Let me just move this down. There is some congestion around here, so maybe it come back to the MA for another run up. But there is a little bit of congestion around there. So we're going to push back up again, and then maybe we're working in this section. If you ask me, see, when I traded last time and I got my P up to $7,500, I seem to average about $600 to $800 a day. But even since then, trading seems harder. There's a lot less setups. Are you about Al Brooks, are you, Charles? Yeah, I don't doubt it, mate. I mean, he's been trading. What has he got? He's got to be trading 40 years, hasn't he? Because I think he studied as a doctor originally, didn't he? I mean, he started trading. But what I will say is when I first started learning to trade, I did a 6-month mentorship with a guy called Andrew Lockwood, who was a British currency trader. And he worked in the London Stock Exchange during the 80s. And he worked for some big city banks. He spent some time in Singapore trading for banks, you know, on when trading was done on floors with sort of paper and pen. And he came back from Singapore. He went over there and helped them set up their computer systems in, I think, around about 2000s. And he came back and he went on the screens himself, traded his own money. And he told me he lost 150,000 because he had to learn to trade again because everything was computerized. Whereas a lot of his trading was based on if some of the big city banks were buying, you would buy. If some of them were selling, you would sell. So you would just literally follow the banks. But obviously, you know, on the computer, on the screens, you haven't got that luxury. So yeah, he told me he lost 150,000 of his own money learning to trade again. How did you move from him to Pat's? I didn't mind Forex, yeah. But the trouble with Forex is I had 4 computer screens and a Mac. And you would have, we used a platform called MetaTrader 4, MT4. And you would have all the major currency pairs like the pound, the euro, they made American dollar, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, Swiss franc, Japanese yen. You would have all those currency pairs on one screen, then you would have all the miners on another screen. Then we used to have another screen with a strength indicator, and what you do, it was you basically following trends. So you'd find a strong currency against a weak currency, and you would look at that chart and you would trade a couple of charts. And at the time I was trading on the hourly, but I'd have the hourly, which was my trading chart. I'd have the 4 hourly, which was my anchor chart. So you can imagine now how many different screens, and you spend most of your time just trying to find a chart to trade. So, and then I saw, like most people, I saw that Randy Coleman, what's his name? Not Randy, Michael Chin and Coleman. And I just loved the fact that they were trading one chart and one time frame. That was it. So not screens everywhere and monitors everywhere with different this, different that. I found that a bit of a pain, to be honest with you. And I just love the style of it. And I'm, as you know, I'm quite a wired person anyway. So me doing intraday trading or swing trading over a few days, I don't know, it just didn't stimulate me. But I like this style. It works quick enough for my mind. I love the challenge of doing it. So yeah, just basically watching the two guys. That's what got me interested. There's a documentary called Flawed about traders making the move from floor to computer on YouTube. I'll have to have a look at that. Let me take a quick photo. But yeah, a lot of them had to learn to trade again, because obviously, you know, if you're on a trading floor, and anybody can be on a trading floor, but you had to rent it. And if you've got, you know, some of the big city banks going buy, then you tend to follow, and that's what a lot of theirs was based on. But then when you move to the screens and you've got to trade without seeing necessarily what anyone else is doing, you know, it's a bit tough then, isn't it? Just take a photo of that. Documentary floor. I'll tell you what I like to watch. There's a British trader stroke investor called Anton Creel. And he was on a program, I think it was a BBC program called Millionaire Traders. And he had a bunch of, they took him and an investor, took a bunch of guys on and gave them X amount of money to try and make it as traders. I mean, it was more investing, really. They buy X amount of stock and sell it. And that was quite interesting. I quite like that. But remember that Anton Creel was talking from his big apartment in London overlooking the Thames and all that sort of, you know, I never dreamed that there was this much money around that people could earn. I know he gave a talk on some of the big city banks, what they pay their traders, starting on something like £45,000 a year. And even if they make it up to, you know, the next level and the next level and a high level, they don't earn as much as you think. And that's obviously, you know, when everything started going computerized, and it's easy for now. Any old Joe can just grab a computer, download a platform and paper trade. I started paper trading on MetaTrader 4. It trades exactly like you were trading for real money, but so anyone can learn to trade now, and that's the beauty of it. But what nicer to spend, not have to leave your house on freezing cold, dark mornings, and just, I mean, from, you know, Sam will tell you this, having the option to not to have to trade till 2:30 in the afternoon. You can have a nice lie in. You know, I mean, many times for years I got up at sort of 5 o'clock in the morning and went out to work in the freezing cold. I come back in the dark, and it's just a naff life. And then that's what got me interested in trading. Hearing a guy saying, you know, you work for yourself. You're never going to be laid off. Never going to be made redundant. Never going to get sacked. Never going to run out for work. At the time we were in and out of the pandemic. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether there's tragedy and the markets are crashing. Doesn't matter whether, you know, the markets are booming. You can trade. Check out Samuel Leach. He has a YouTube series trying to become a successful overtrader. But I have seen a couple of them. But there is a young lad I've started watching, a young British lad who trades currency. He looks like he's literally just out of nappies. And he makes a ton of money. Some people are just... so I can find him. Some people can just do it, can't they? But he learned to trade himself since he was 16, this guy. See if I can find him. But I've been watching him just out of interest, trading currency. But I admire anybody who can make money around the markets. Let's see him now. What's his name? Very young lad. But not interested in the strategies, but the market. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Adam Mancini futures levels are certainly worth a look. Have a look at that. I'll take a snippet of that picture on my phone. I do like having a look because I'm quite happy to research everything. It's always nice. I don't get me wrong, I'm a massive believer, and Andrew Lockwood told me this. Find a strategy that works, stick with it and master it. Don't go from one to another, because a lot of people realise, oh, this is a bit tough, can't be that good, I'll move on to something else, and that's how it goes. That's the cycle. So, I can't find this young lad now. I don't remember his name. I did subscribe to him. No, I can't remember. The trouble is when you got subscribed to that many places. I'm content with $300 a day. Any more as a bonus? Yeah, absolutely, Carl. See, at the moment, I've got 5 accounts. Now, only one of them's PA at the moment, but there's a couple more due to go PA. But you get 5 accounts, and you make even $200 a day, let's say, yeah? That's $1,000 a day. That's $20,000 a month just by getting an average of $200 a day. You times out, you have 20 accounts, and then, you know, you maybe make a bit more money. And once you start to build it, okay, this is interesting. This is, that's it's a bit of a naff bar, but I do wonder. I mean, if we push out here and then I'll say, yeah, then I think perhaps we needed a couple of legs back and another run up. But we may just be tootling along in this area here. So the plan is to take snippets here and there, make us all better. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like you mentioned about Al Brooks, you can pick up some useful tips. You know, that, I mean, that guy is a wealth of knowledge. He's been looking at these markets probably for the best part of 40 years. And he does strike me as one of those anorak type people who just suck in information. He looks like he's got a brain twice as big as his head. You know what I mean? He looks like that type of guy that can just take in masses of information. He's almost like a encyclopedia on legs. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I say, I have watched bits, but, you know, I spend that much time studying on YouTube and reading and this sort of stuff. I need to go back. But yeah, he is like a wealth of knowledge, isn't he? Can't find that young lad now. Yeah, Hardy. Yeah, he does sell courses, doesn't he? I think that's probably why I'm limited to watching him. Sales fancy courses, a bit like Conman on Grill. Yeah, yeah, they do. I will agree with you there. There's another guy as well. Who's the other currency trader who actually he sells a platform as well. You know, sometimes when you don't, I subscribe to YouTube now, but before, you know, when you're interested in trading, you lots of searches every 5 bloody minutes. Every time you click on YouTube, you get this annoying trader that pops up. And in the end, I had to start paying to subscribe just to get rid of him out of my head. I went through settings to try and get rid of him, but he just kept bloody popping up. It was frying my brain, it was. Here's the other guy. He had a picture from his holiday resort. He took a shot from his holiday resort in, where was it? It was in the Maldives. He had a bright red face, glowing white teeth. You know the type. That looks like he's had plastic surgery. He got 20 grand's worth of white teeth and overdone it on the sunbeds. But yeah, there's lots of people like that, aren't they? But what I will say is one of the best courses I've ever seen is Max. And considering he charges $125 for a year, it's that cheap. It's ridiculous. He could charge 3 times that and people would pay it. But that tells me Mac makes a decent living at trading because he doesn't feel the need to want to make a load more out of YouTube and that. So that tells me he's the type of person that's quite happy to give back. You know, I started 2 years ago. It hasn't gone up in 2 years. So, no, I like Mac. I've got a massive amount of respect for him. I've mentioned him many times on here and you know, dragged a clip of his website in for some people. Because I respect the guy, because he doesn't rip you off and he gives you a course that's tried and tested. And you know when you follow the rules how well it works. You rented a Lambo in the background. They must think you just sailed it on the last banana boat. Some people, don't they? But there are people, I suppose, who just believe all that shit, don't they? Now, you know, we've been trading long enough to know you can make a serious amount of money. But if you're showing pictures of Lamborghinis and stuff, something isn't right, is it? I don't know, perhaps they do. But the people I know make a lot of money, don't brag. But But yeah, I'm always skeptical. I'm 53 now. I'm not a little kid anymore. I've been around long enough to spot a con. Did he really? He said yesterday he watched every bar live for the last 38 years. Wow. He's almost like a, what is he, like a 10th Dan in trading compared to, surprised he doesn't come with belts trading. They're all short. Yeah, you're right, Tech. Yeah, you're right. But nah, people like Al Brooks and Mac as well, absolutely. Obviously, Al Brooks has been doing it longer than Mac, but I rate Mac. Anybody who's been trading every day for 25 years and above, even less than that. But if you've been trading 25 years successfully, you're a solid trader. There's no issues. But yeah, I don't doubt he's almost like a professor, isn't he? Al Brooks. Yeah, I do get the impression that it is maybe starting to grind, but until it gets above here as a nice pullback and continues higher, then I'm a bit skeptical. But if we do, I mean, we could end up having something like this again. It just might have been a couple of nice days, but that's as good as any to start from, isn't it? We've pushed up. We've had a two-legged correction, not perfect legs, but it's still a two-legged correction to me, and then push up again. So it could do something like this. We've pushed up here. It could have a couple of legs and push up some more, but it does. I am sort of getting that impression that it may end up doing something like that again. Maybe, or it's, you know what I mean? So there's something like that. I wouldn't be shocked, but obviously until it pushes above there, then I'm unfortunate. The frustrating time is. But I don't know, once we get above this middle, there's not a lot left really, but it does look like a good strong channel, a correction, and then a push up again. But it's going up slowly enough and grinding that it looks strong. Oh, you mentioned Greg Secker. Yeah, that's him. He does my bloody head, he does. Every time I flick on YouTube, and when you're learning to trade, you spend half your life on YouTube, and every time I'm on YouTube for more than 10 seconds, that bloody Greg Secker pops up, fries my bloody head. I even looked on YouTube how to get rid of them. And even when I was watching a video on how to get rid of these links, he popped up again. I just couldn't get rid of him. Greg Secker, yeah. What does he charge you, 2,000 or 3,000 quid or something stupid like that? I don't know. Yeah, bright white teeth. People think, you know, you get a bit of a suntan and get yourself some white teeth, and people believe anything you just say. Don't you? I won't. You might see a picture of me one day, Angela, with bright white teeth and a beetroot coloured face, sat on a beach, going, "I'm charging you £3,000 to learn to trade." No, I won't. Yeah, don't worry. That's crazy. It's crazy. I'd like to see a picture of Mac just to see what he looks like. Trouble is, when you can't see a picture of Mac, you sort of have an image of him in your head, don't you? Because he's south, I picture him on a horse for some reason. Speedo. A pair of Speedos. Or budgie smugglers, as we call them over here. Black pair of Speedos. Bright red sunburnt body and a pair of nice set of white teeth. Oh dear. Might suit you, you never know. You never know. How long have we been? Oh, 2 hours. My God, the 2 hours have gone quick today. Time flies when you're having fun. Bring it on. Yeah, if you do well, Angela, you're going to have to get... Oh, there he is. I was just going to say you'd have to get DJ. Get him to get his teeth nice and brightly white. Get him to get some nice pearly white... what do they call them? Caps or something, are they? What do they call them? I can't think. Yeah, get him to get a nice suntan. Nice expensive Rolex watch on his wrist. See, you two are going to be made of money. It's good enough when you get one trader in house, but imagine having two. You two are going to make a fortune. You'll be on your own private island before long, you two. So yeah, I do, mate. Yeah, they're all. Most of them sit in the background. They're all scared. They don't. Occasionally, someone will come. But yeah, some people sit in the background. Yeah, they're there. They're there somewhere. I know a few of them that tend to watch. I think some people like it maybe as a bit of a company. Some Brody won't shut up. But yeah, it can be a bit lonely trading sometimes, can't it? So I am wondering, whether maybe this is a bit of a spiking channel. Interesting. I just thought if that comes down to here, maybe it's a bit of a spike in a channel. But unless it breaks below that line, I'm not convinced. You have a followeth, mate. Yeah. Sometimes it goes up to 100 or something. But my whole theory behind streaming was I used to just revenge trade something terrible. So if things weren't going my way, I'd take a loss. I wouldn't even use right click and order. I'd just hit the buy and sell buttons, and I would just go, market was going down, I'd just be it and sell. If it goes down a bit quicker, I'd just be it in multiple sells. I'd just go stupid. And then when I started streaming, the whole idea was if I've got people watching, if I do something stupid, it's going to make me look like a right tit, isn't it? So that was the theory. And to be honest with you, I've only had one meltdown and blown one account live on stream. So it does work. Yeah. Oh, don't worry about the thumbs up, mate. You're never going to make money at YouTube unless you're young, good looking, and you've got hundreds of thousands of followers. This is purely a platform for me to just make people, make me sort of realise people are watching, so I'm less likely to do something stupid. And a way just to get to know other traders. Guy told me when I started learning to trade, surround yourself by people you want to be like. And that's a good way. That's a good way to sort of, you learn stuff. You're constantly learning. I mean, you guys have been mentioning certain traders. As soon as you do, I pick my phone up and I take a picture of the comment and I look later. Turn it right off. That's my it's my sense of humour. I don't know, my wife thinks I'm annoying sometimes. But you get the idea, don't you? If people are watching you, I think you just tend to hold back a bit and you think, we better not. Because I know the odd time where I've blown accounts while I've been streaming is I've shut down and I've carried on trading, but I tend to not do that now. I've realised it just doesn't work. Every time I carry on trading, after 9 times out of 10, I blow accounts. So I think my brain's finally starting to get the message. I'm just going to get rid of that a minute because I think it's a spike in a bit of a channel. No, you're lovely. Thank you. Thank you. My wife thinks I'm annoying. No, she doesn't really, but that's a bit mean, I suppose. But now, I've got to say, my wife's been strangely supportive of my trading, especially when I told her how much I'd actually invested into it. I thought I might have had some divorce papers through the door the following day, but no, she's actually been really supportive. I think I worked out all in all, it's probably cost me somewhere around about the 13 grand, which is about $15,000. Excuse me. I'd say that's what I put in. And when I say that, I mean including the computer. I got, $2 grand's worth of computer and screens, desk chair, things like the microphone, another graphics card, and all that sort of stuff. $1,000 or £1,000 it was for the Ninja Trader license and various. In fact, no, it's about £13,000. So $13,000. Sorry. So yeah, it's about 11 or 12,000, somewhere around about that UK money. But what I will say is if you have 5 accounts and you withdraw, you build them up and you withdraw $2,000 from each account, you've more or less got your money back. So, when you start to get somewhere, it doesn't take long to get your money back. So we'll say that. Now that to me looks like a spike in channel. I hate it when it does that. I have to be aware though that may be an overshoot. God, it just does seem to want to keep pushing up. Obviously we had this quick drop. What mic do you use? I'll tell you what mic I use, mate, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's called the Fine. I think it's 588. I think it's 80 quid on I'll find it for you. I think it's 80 quid on Amazon. It's a great mic. It's a USB-C. It's got a button on the side which switches the power off. It's got your gain and all that sort of thing. But I did have something a bit cheaper, which was about £40, and it was just naff. But this one was much better. I do, if I listen to myself back, I'm quite happy with the sound. Streaming mic. Find it for you, bud. I mean, a lot of these streamers use those Shure ones, don't they? But they can be quite pricey. So, where is it? I think it's about 85 quid, I think the mic was. Tell you what, search it. 5.5, I think it's 588, I think. Cheap headset. Yeah, you don't need to spend a lot, mate, to be fair, to get nice sound. 5.5, I think. So look, F-I-F-I-N-E. I'll find it for you, mate. Like it's not doing much. It does look like a spiking channel, I gotta say. Can't find it now. Sure, it's the 588. Something like that. I think it's something like the 5.588. I can't see anything on it. Oh, 5.5, but if I find out, I'll let you know. But it should be on my orders. So look, nothing's happening at the moment, is it really? Sorry, I bought it on eBay. Let's have a look. I actually bought it used on eBay for I think it was £55 I paid for it, but I think it's 85 on eBay. But let me eBay. Definitely looks like a spiking channel. Okay, I think this is it, mate, but it's a bit more expensive here. I've seen it cheaper than that. That one there, the £109 one. That's basically it there. I didn't say what model that is. I'm sure mine's the 588, but it was about £85 a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, that's gone up a bit. It is that one. It's the you can get 10% off it, so you can get it for 100 quid. It's the K658. Yeah, the K658. It's gone up a bit actually. It was about £85 a month or so ago. So, but yeah, it's all right, mate. Actually, it's USB-C, so it's just plug and play. Because when I sort of looked into that, I was listening to myself back on the other mic, and it was annoying me. So I thought, if it's annoying me, it's annoying other people. But I think sound's more important than picture. I think. I forget what the other one is. I had like a possible second entry long here. So we're pushing up, aren't we? It does look like a spike and channel that. It's fitting lovely there, fitting there, fitting there, fitting there. It's gone up to the top there, so I'd expect it to come down. So where are we going to go? Right, if we are in this range, you'd expect it to go to the tops. And possibly even higher, but it could break at some point. As I mentioned earlier, it could break and end up doing something like that, couldn't it? And then start pushing higher. That is a bit risky for me. Could end up being a two-tier channel. That could be the top. That's just way too far up for the EMA for me. If it's strong, it might push up, and it is a second entry long, but I prefer that bar down here somewhere. I do, so I won't be taking that. Hello, good day to you, or good day for you. What is the add-ons for the ATR lag information on the top, please? Excuse me 1 second. Okay, they are from Mac. If you join Mac's group at priceactiontradingsystem.com, it costs $125 for the year. There's dozens of videos on how to trade, how to do everything on this, how to draw trend channels, how to understand them, you name it, it's there. And there's a certain amount of add-ons as well, which give you these, and I believe it gives you a few more of these as well. And if you do join his, if you do join up, it's just those basically. Pat's toolbar, bar size counter, that's something different, but that's Max there, which is this news, and you can set all the news. There's a bunch of things anyway, so yeah, you've got to go to priceactiontradingsystem.com and join. It's $125 a year. If you're new to trading or you want to learn a system, it's brilliant. It works incredibly well, and that's where you get all those. There's all sorts of other bits and pieces you can get and use and that. So, okay, so yeah, there was this second entry, but I'm not a fan of it. I expect it, if we were going to continue on, depends how strong the market is, but I'd much prefer that candle, sort of the body here and the stem down here. And there is a possible failed second entry short there. See if that triggers. That's a NAF bar anyway. But yeah, the other day, see, I was 450 up and I took a trade. It was a good trade in my opinion. I lost it. Shortly after that, quite quickly after that, I took another impatient trade, lost that. So I ended up going at zero. So if I do take another trade, it's going to have to be a glorious one. And I do have a new rule now. If I do win two trades in a row, that is it for the day. I'll continue to stream if it's early, but I'll pop it onto a demo. But what you really don't want to do is make some money and then lose it. It hurts even more, because that is a nice amount for the day. I've got 5 accounts at the moment, so you times that by 5 accounts, that's $1,750 minus fees. So that's a lot of money for the day. Granted, all mine aren't PA accounts, but they will be surely, and based on that. But you imagine doing that a day. You sell some good money. Short, are you? Here goes 73. Yeah, you're welcome, mate. Anytime. Short 4170. Going short here. Seeing that, really, I'd expect that to push up. There's no real reason why that would turn around now. I mean, if we're moving up, where are traders likely to keep buying until these highs, I'd say? If it's a strong trend, possibly even higher, but I'd expect a bit of a pullback or to correct a little bit before it moves to these highs, because once it goes so far, you can have traders taking profits, and then obviously that causes a pullback, and then obviously then in a lot of cases you'll have traders then jumping back in. So you would expect the market to push up. I do like the theory of this of 2 legs up today, 1 leg up. It was clearly a 2-legged correction to me. It wasn't 2 perfect legs, but that doesn't really matter. Still looks like 2 legs to me, and now we've been trading up, moving up nice and relatively strongly, and there's no reason why it would slow down. I just don't really want to take that. It's an inside bar, and if we get a break, it could come out here a little bit more and possibly a bit lower. But we'll see what happens when it gets up here. But I prefer it. It might end up doing something like that, with that channel widening. Trouble is, a channel like that thin going up that much, is unlikely, really, isn't it? So, try to go once, try to go twice, failure. It's triggered. So that fell second entry long is triggered, and it's been stopped out. Not that you would take a short there. I can't see that, to be fair. It's looking relatively bullish, and that one is about as high as it can go. So I'd expect it to go up, but it's an inside bar, and it's just a little bit choppy looking. I'm not a fan of that. Get a higher low, then that might interest me, but I mean, normally you get out before these highs, but I'd say it's quite likely we're at least going to push up to these highs up here. There's nothing that really slow that down. There's some congestion around here and here, which is why it's probably slowed a bit, but once we get above here, that's where I see it going. Interesting. It does look like it's broken lower, doesn't it? It's because the it's because of the angle, but I don't want to take that right into the highs. I'd expect it to go higher up to here, but it's a bad habit to get into, really. I'd prefer that to come back here and maybe take it here. You've got a disconnect with NQ. This is just about catching up to the downside, in my humble opinion. Okay. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what's going on at the moment. I mean, it is possible we could have something like that. Let's see when it does that. Could be something like that. That kind of works in a way, doesn't it? In fact, I kind of like that better. It did look like a spike in a channel, but yeah, I'm not overly convinced about that. I mean, you usually take it off the first sort of couple of, I don't know, it just did look like a spiking channel. Let's put that back and see if it looks any different now. That's annoying me, that is. Yeah, it did look like a spike on a channel to me. I'm not massively convinced. It does look like a spike and a channel because it pushes up quickly and then starts slowly grinding. And we touched here, and a bit of a break. It's all right to have a break there. It's touching quite nice on the opposite side. Probably take that down a fraction more. I'm pushing up a little bit more. That way it'll work along the backside nice as well. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'd rather err on the side of caution and say we've had a break. Because if I incorporate that, when we get another break, I might be thinking, oh, there's a break, we're going higher, when we've already had a break and made a new high. So technically it's played out, so it could come down. I don't think it will, but I always like to keep it in mind that we have had a break, so it could push up a couple of times and come back. Whereas if I incorporate that and we have a break, I might be thinking, oh, break, let's go high again. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's holding back. I'd say this is absolutely the target. There's no reason why it would slow down. It's slowly grinding and grinding. And I think sometimes the slower it does it, the safer it is, I think. Unfortunately, there's no real entry there. You may have taken that, but the trouble is it's an inside bar and it's trouble is, if there is a setup there, see, I suppose once you get a bit confident and you take something here and you're pretty sure, there's no reason why it wouldn't get to these highs. It's bouncing off here, so it could be a push up, a correction, another push up. But I've got a sneaking feeling we're going to have a little pullback here and we're going to go up again like this. And I think come the end of the day, it's quite possibly going to look like this. One leg, two-legged correction, and then up again. So I think at some point it's going to pull down a bit and push again. I think something like this. That was almost like two tiers, one side. We worked in the bottom section of it, and then we pushed strongly across and then worked in the top tier. I'd say this is likely to be the top tier, I would have thought, maybe, if we do pull back. So I'm going to take it away at the moment. but I'd say it's quite likely going to look something like that at the end of the day. Okay, it's going to get up to the top now, so, and then I'm guessing it might have a little bit of a pullback, so I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, go and make myself a cup of tea, and then I'll be back. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay. Right, yeah. It's a much more fluid day today, I've got to say. Okay, there we go. New high of the day there. So, decent day. It's not been a bad day, actually, Andy, is it? We've had some... I mean, you may have taken that. I did look at that, but the trouble is, if you take that, it could trigger you and have a bit more of a break than that. That's the downside. So, I mean, I don't know how convinced I am that's a break. Some might have their charts slightly different. I just tend to want to err on the side of caution. So we've made a new high. So are we going to now make a sort of a correction before we go a bit higher, like this type of thing, a couple of legs back and then up again? So if we do end up having the chart something like this come later this afternoon, one leg up, correction, another leg up. So it could keep going or it could come down a bit. The trouble is you've got to be careful. These trades are right, but sometimes if you take them in here, they can drop out and then go up. Got some more, so it's similar. It's not quite as strong as yesterday, mind you, it's early days yet, but we had this push, didn't we? And then the second push was even stronger. So we got the same. We had this push, then this break, and then another big push. Then we had a break, new high, two legs back, one leg up, correction. That's what it looks like to me. It's just continuing going. I can't really see any decent setups there. You wouldn't really want to take that. We could have broken, come down. You just not a huge amount of setups. Again, it just seems that setups are really getting few and far between. There's a little bit of sideways there, then it pushed up strongly. There's a failure there which is triggered, so it's an inside bar, so you wouldn't want to take that. It was a higher low, but we're right at the highs, so you just don't know. Take the money run. Yeah, I don't blame you, mate. Yeah, you too, buddy. Sorry, mate, I didn't see your message there. You too. Have a good weekend. Absolutely. It's always nice to end up on the green as well, isn't it? You can end up green on a Friday night. I've got my whiskey glass here, actually. I'm going to have one shortly in the last 15 minutes. Got a nice bottle of 12-year-old double wood Balvenie on my desk. Yummy. It's a nice one, actually. In fact, I broke one of my. I got a bunch of glasses which I've had over the last sort of few years with different bottles. But I do like the Glencairn ones, the little flute style ones. I broke mine. So my wife was in town earlier, so I sent her a message to pick me up another one. Broke in the dishwasher. So I've got a Jura glass here, single malt Jura. Jura, if you've not tried one, they do a range as well. My trading computer is liquid cooled ice coffee. Now, the tricky thing is now, now some may say we've had a break there, some might not. Now, you could adjust this to fit that. So we've actually made a new high here. So I think it's risky to take an entry here. I'm not saying it's not going to push up, but I would say if we are going to continue to go higher, it's possibly going to do something like that. Have you noticed when we came up to sort of these highs, we had this little break and a couple of pushes up, fill this gap, and then we went up in another channel. So we could end up doing the same. Once we've hit these highs, see, it might correct a little bit, which it did there. So it does look like it's going to be one of those days. But I just got to be a little bit wary. You're okay down here because obviously you've got some distance. It was always going to go at least to these highs, in my opinion, and possibly higher. But I think it's just dangerous to just go there. I mean, it might keep on going for a while first, but usually, well, based on what I can see earlier, when it's hit a level, which it did here, hit these levels, we sort of broke out. A couple of a push up, a little bit of sideways, and then we went off in a different direction, a much steeper angle. It's lunch. It's on Friday. I'm done. Yeah, take it easy, Tech. Have a good have a good weekend, mate. So yeah, I'm a bit cautious about taking a trade here. Interesting. Yeah, my thoughts exactly, mate. It's got to wait some time. I can't see it continuing going up in that channel up here without breaking and making a wider channel. Same scenario as here. It'll only go so far. But it does to me look like it's going to be a second leg. And maybe let's see if you got in down here. I mean, if you can manage to get in a trade here and you're this far up, I know traders will wait for that to make a bit of a pullback or a bit of a break and then go high, make yourself a stack of money out of that. Trouble is, you've got 10 points already, so you're prepared to let it come back 5 points or something. That's the trouble. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Something's going to happen. It's got to correct somehow, isn't it? I can't see it continuing going up. To make that other leg, it's going to have to come down sooner, isn't it? Or you recognise that sound, Angela? I have got a Scotch. Did you hear the cork? Did you? Nothing. Cheers to you two. Nothing like the sound of a cork bottle, is there? They do sound lovely, I got to say. The Aberlour I like, short fat bottle. That makes a lovely sound when you pop that cork. Yeah, cheers to you. Cheers to you. Have a good weekend, everyone. You know what? I'm not convinced that is a break. Yeah, I think that's okay, actually. In fact, it might. Yeah. No, I'm not convinced that's a break, really. It's just it's not enough, really, and we're continuing up, aren't we? I don't usually say much here, but do watch every day, but my ears perked up when I did that. Did it really? Ben, how you doing, Ben? Yeah, the sound of quality. That's a bottle of 12-year-old double wood Balvenie. Only opened it a week and a half ago, I think. It's done in a whiskey oak and then finished in a sherry oak. Excuse me. Two strong legs. We've passed the measured move. Which measure are you thinking about? That one and that one, would you? I can't really see nothing obvious there. I did have a look. I went from... The trouble is, you got to do before on a correction. So the only place I can see, really, where we sort of worked up is here. If you're going to do a measured move here, for me, we're working up right to the top, and then we pull across to the other side, and then push up. That's the only one I can see. Yeah, well, I mean, we've clearly we've broken the range a while ago, but this to me looks like a channel, a two-legged correction, and another channel. The only trouble is to get up to this second leg. I can't see it carrying on in that thin channel. This one here, obviously, we had a break, we had a push up, a little bit of sideways, and then we pushed up strongly to the top tier of that two-legged channel. So, excuse me, we could end up doing something like that, couldn't we? It could end up being there and there and something like that. And obviously that would be a little bit wider, and that would make it easier for it to travel that high. So I don't know. And that's the trouble, really. If you're looking for a trade here, when it comes back, it could break. I mean, it's going to break at some point, and you just don't want to be on the receiving end of it when it does break. But the frustrating thing is, I mean, ever since here, it's not even touching the EMA. It's just pushed up, what, about another 5, 10 or 12 points. See, I thought we might get a break here and then possibly retest the highs and then push up again somehow. But sometimes you got to wait for that correction, haven't you, and then find a way up then before it gets too far. Because at least if the earlier you get in, the more chance you got of running it a little bit. Another reason I'm having a couple of whiskies is my daughter's got a friend over, and when I finished, I'll end up driving her home. So if I've had a couple of whiskies, my wife's going to do it. Keep that to ourselves. I just popped down for a cup of tea and I saw my daughter's got a friend over. Your strong legs, kind of long, don't you think? Your strong legs. Your strong legs. What you on about? The measured move ended at the double top. See, I can't see where you had a measured move from. Double top. What measured move did you? Where did you go from then? Okay, so if you went from here to here, yeah? You went from there, did you? You went after this. Oh, I went from the bottom. I'm not sure, mate. So you must have went here then. If you put that as a measured move, finishing there, you've gone from here, yeah? No, I've gone from the bottom. So you go up when you get a correction, which we have, so I don't know. I'll leave it off, mate, anyway. I mean, I got a pretty idea, a reasonable idea where we're going here with this. Let's turn that down a bit with this leg. We've had that leg, haven't we? Then we've had that two-legged correction. So I think it's likely we're going to hit here. I tend to be pretty accurate on my legs. Okay, second entry long here. You've got to be so careful here. Yeah, but we've broken. Oh, I'm not convinced we have, mate. I'm not convinced we have. To me, it looks like a spiking channel. If it is, it's a very soft break. And I tend to might be taking stops down. Well, that's what I mean. We're going to get a correction at some point. If we do, we may sort of come down here somewhere. Yeah, I'm relatively confident from what I can see. It looks like a strong channel with a bunch of other smaller channels, and then a two-legged correction, and then another channel. But at some point we are going to make... See, I'm not convinced that is. It's only come down to the same, exactly the same as there. That for me. So it depends how you draw this. If you draw it right from here, it's just not right to me, because you usually take it off the first couple of swings, don't you? Which why I think it's a spiking channel, because it pushed up really strongly. For me, that's it. It fits nice for me. It fits here pretty good. Touches here nice. Touches here nice. Tops fit lovely. So for me, that's it. Right, that's so tempting there. So tempting. So tempting. Second entry long off the key entry point. Kind of hope it finishes naff. I don't think it's going to finish very good anyway, so yeah, sometimes I did say I prefer it to retest this. So we may have a break here. We don't retrace 50%. What, to here? I can't see, so I don't tend to use a retracement tool so much, but you come down to just above this line. I wouldn't have thought so. I would say we may end up just getting something like that. And that would be nice because that means we've had a strong push up, which would give us our spiking channel spiked up, and then we've been working in this top. I like that, actually. I'm going to leave that there because I think that to me makes perfect sense. But I'm going to also leave that and make that a bit stronger, because we've had a spike up and then we're working from the tops to the bottoms nicely there. But I would say it's going to correct at some point. Let's have a look. Let's fit it along the top side there, nice. About there. If it does come down, then I'd expect it to maybe work in this bottom section, something similar to what it did there. We worked in this bottom section, we had a little bit of a break, push up, bit of sideways, and then we had that spike, and another channel we were working in that top section. So it looks to me like a leg, break, leg down to here, and then obviously I'll wait for it to push up again. You don't use that? No, oh, do you not? I used to use that a little bit with trading currency, just from the bottom where it started to the top, and then just to work out where it could come back. I don't think it'll come back that far, but I expect it to break here. Hopefully, if it breaks and then if it starts working in here, I'll wait for an entry and then maybe try and run it up for a few points. Not to do that at some point. It won't keep going up. It's doubtful it's going to keep working up in such a small range, a small channel for such a long time. Yeah, and that too, at some point, that's why it's okay taking risky ones down here, but as soon as you break this highs, you can see it's stalled there. I think it stands to reason. You know, once we pushed above there, buyers are going to be thinking about taking their profits. Hence, we get a bit of a drop. So I prefer to come down here and then start working higher before I think about getting in. And if it does keep working up, then I'd say that's where I think it's likely to push to. Makes sense, doesn't it? Channel, couple of couple of legs down, and then working up again. But we had that. Definitely for me is a spiking channel. It's a quick, strong shoot up, and then it works in that top section there. I'd prefer it to come down a little bit lower than that, but it does look like it's going to be one of those days today. So yesterday was nice in the fact that it was quite fluid. So if you did manage to get into trade, you wouldn't have to worry about only taking a couple of points out of it. Unfortunately, there wasn't a massive amount of trades. It's a little bit easier to read today. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Channel, couple of legs, channel. That's got danger written all over it. I expect that to trigger and then come back down. I'm going to have one more so I don't start pressing buttons stupidly. Should prick your ears up again. I apologise, Angela. I'm sorry. You can have one as well. There's nothing stopping you. Tell him to get off his computer and go and pour you one. I'm only having a couple. I've just had two small ones. I've had a single now. I've got a double. And if I have any more, I'll start eating the buy and sell buttons. I'll get myself into trouble. Too early. Not in the UK. It's 5:25. Not too early here. It's only because I'm coming to the end of the day now. I wish I could drink with someone who trades. Talk about trading. Yeah, that's the trouble, really, isn't it? That's kind of like why I like streaming, because I get to talk and you have to listen. I did consider having something where we could all chat at the same time, but if you got a bunch of people chatting, it's going to get quite confusing. It's 5 p.m. So exactly. It's 8 o'clock somewhere. See, if you're having a drink with me, it's tea time, isn't it? So you're obliged to, really, aren't you? I did consider drinking and trading, actually, to take away the nerves, but I thought it might be a bad habit to get into. Because if it works, you're going down a whole dodgy old road there. Right, okay, so I'm guessing that's why I don't like that. Sometimes when you get two big bars of red one, the green one, right side by side, it's got caution written all over it. Yeah, I know. My wife. I talk my wife about trading sometimes, and then I throw in a red herring and see if she picks it up. And I go, "What did I just say?" I was listening. No, you weren't. So what did I just say then? Yeah, I start talking a load of rubbish and just see if she's listening to me, and she never is. Mind you, I suppose if you're not interested, it must be boring. I've even tried talking to my daughter about it. She's definitely not interested. Oh, did you see? I thought vodka Red Bull was a British thing. I didn't think you guys. So we started on the vodka Red Bulls, crikey, going back about 20 years, I think 15, 20 years. We were doing vodka Red Bulls in the UK. Have you nicked that idea from us, or have we nicked it from you? What's the other one? There was another one we started doing. What was that one? I can't think now. It's some liqueur dropped into a beer, dropped into a pint in a small glass. A Jaeger bomb. We started doing that at one point. The casinos, yeah, we don't get much in the way of casinos over here. There's a few around London and maybe Birmingham and that, but no, we tend to not get some so much around here. Okay, I'm looking at this. It does look like a break and a higher low, doesn't it? But I'm so cautious. To me, it's just something I don't like about it, and I really don't want to throw away me $350 I got on there, especially now. Interesting. Okay, so far we've had a drop down here. I'm just wondering whether to close this up or put it a slightly different angle. just don't like the way that hasn't come back to here. Well, perhaps it. What did it do there? Right, okay. Maybe that's a bit like that. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's remove that for now. Okay, that looks a bit clearer. There we go. Let's pull that back a bit. Okay, so that's better. So we've had that spike up. We're clearly working that channel with the exception of a little bit of a pullback there, and we're working higher. So I'm just trying to think where you'd add a measured leg to. It looks like a measured leg from there to there, but I can't see where, I don't know, would you take it from here? Maybe, if that's where the spike in the channel, possibly, but I was unaware you did that. I tended to think you're going from the first move, but okay, I'll accept that. Now we've pushed back here. We've made a higher low, but it was below the signal bar, so perhaps we are pushing. If we can if we push higher than this and come back and keep working higher, then I'll get something. I'll jump into something, because I think that might be wide enough to push up a bit further. So this is my target here. So I'll tell you what I will do. Let's grab that again and put that from there to there, and then put that from there to there. Oh, look at that. That's not far away, actually. So we've had a push up. We've had a sort of a leg down there. I kind of like that now for looking for longs again. Now, we've clearly broken above this, so there's no rush. We've come down and we've clearly pushed above it, no issues. So maybe if we can get a setup here, I'll be interested in going long there. Yeah, if it breaks there, to be fair, it does look like one of those grinding up kind of days, doesn't it? It clearly looks like two legs. Yeah, one leg, a two-legged correction, followed by another leg. I've got no arguments with that. It looks pretty clear. I'm just going to get into there, yeah. I mean, it could. I mean, look, we had two channels there, didn't we? A two-tier channel there. We've got the same there. It's a little bit wider there, isn't it? But it's not much wider. We haven't got far to go. I'll do another 20 minutes. Wife's still out at the moment, so. Small range. I'm not sure it's pushed up now. We're off to lunch. Hope you have a great. Yeah, you too. Have a great weekend, you guys. And I'll see you two on Monday. Yeah. It does seem like a strong market today, doesn't it? So we've had some really awful days lately, haven't we? But yesterday wasn't too bad. You're welcome, Angela. Have a good weekend, you two. And I'll see you on Monday. Yeah, it's been a kind of a nice couple of days. I don't tend to do that much now, but oh, look at that. Oh, well, oh, look at that. Now, I don't know. Mac doesn't talk about that, but how can you deny that? Look at that. It fits perfectly. It fits perfect. You can't argue with that, surely, can you? Look at that. Right from there. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect, perfect. You can't deny that. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Where that looks like a big effect. What I will say there is we'll go from there to there. And I would say, I think it's quite likely. So we've had a two-legged correction there and another two-legged correction there. I'd say it's likely we're going to get really high today. You can't argue with that. Surely not. Touch is perfect, touch is perfect, touch is perfect. You know the story. To me, that's going to push up. Having said that, it is a two-tier channel, but it could break down and it could, but see, these are the areas to take it after that initial push, after that two legs. If you can get in short after that, and once you start understanding the market, I'm getting better at understanding the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is one leg, a two-legged correction, another leg. But if you can get here, if you can identify this two-legged correction and get in nice and early there, I mean, even if you took a risk or something and sort of went from above there, I mean, look at that. It's 25 points there, and we're not even halfway there. I mean, you could pull it up to here. Well, you could, in fact, I can't see it dropping below that. You could put it to here and then just let it go and then just slowly bring it up. I mean, I know I go on about this, the guerrilla trader guy, but this is how he trades. He capitalizes on these bigger moves. Very big gap between touches. Hard to trust it anyways. Yeah. I mean, we got a leg down here. It's, yeah. I mean, you've got to be careful because it could break and then it could continue in another channel and then that'll turn into a bigger channel. Possible failure here. I don't like the fact we got just red bars down here. I much prefer that type of thing. A little channel, a little bit of break. I much prefer it to break and then maybe take the high low. But if you look, oh no, it's all right. I'm going to say we're in this bottom channel. I'm going to say we never got up the top, but we seem to be floating around in this section, don't we? Fairly, maybe, possibly. I'm just not a fan of going long, even though we're clearly uptrended in there. But the last time we came back, we had that leg, didn't we? Well, it was a little channel, and then we had a break. We haven't at the moment, so you know there's a possibility we could have a bigger break, down, up, down, and that might turn into a bigger channel. Trouble is, even if you take that and it triggers above it, and a failure, it could still come down and stop you out. Yeah, we could have a couple of legs and then we could end up having something like this. That's sort of very similar to the angle we had there. Maybe not quite so intense, but certainly something like that. But if we can pick it off somewhere at the lows, look what's potentially on the table. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There's possible 20 odd points on the table just to here, regardless of whether this plays any part of it. That one there, yeah, it's still counter trend trading for me. I get wary about that. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, clear break and new low, no argument there. How do you get the account data on your main chart? Account data. What are you on about, bud? What do you mean account data? You mean this stuff here? You mean this? Is that what you mean? I just have that on a separate chart. I do. It's just, well, I just have it in a window above my head. I do. Trouble is, because I'm trading multiple accounts. This area, obviously, I need to just to check there's nothing still running after. So if I bring it down, it's just a ball ache. So I got this just in the way. So I just chuck it up. But if you can't see it and you just literally highlight on that and just click on, it just shows you what's open. Okay, so now let me have a look. Mine are two different charts. Are you trading on? Yeah, there. Yeah, just hover over there and you'll see what windows you've got up to do with NinjaTrader, and then just click on whatever. But I just keep mine above my head. I do on another screen. Okay, so short-term trend channel break, new low. I kind of like that, but it's not very wide, and I'm just concerned. Yeah, a lot of the times they don't bud. A lot of the times the bars might be different. I'm just concerned there because that is a break and a new low. I prefer to wait for a higher low, just in case we have a leg and a leg, and work into a wider channel. I'm not happy about that because we've had a bit of a break. Now, it is a strong day and it may continue up, but that's just something about it I don't like. Did you back test Lance or just been forward tested on paper? No, to be honest with you, mate, I back tested it for a year on a demo account, really. I just knew the rules. I followed the rules on Mac and you just trade it. I know what the rules are, but obviously a lot of it's down to context as well. So I have back tested before with software. When I used to trade currency, I back tested, but I tended to not do it this time. I just traded it on a demo, and you just get slowly better and better at it. So for both East Hemisphere, we should have the same data. As long as yours is showing the ES 2006-23 2000 tick data, the chart shouldn't be that far wrong. Bars can be a little bit different depending on where the data comes from. But usually they will be a little different. It's just how it is. That's not how it works. Yeah, I mean, if you think about this live data coming from, I think it comes from the CME group in the US. It's obviously coming to my chart. It depends on the speed of my download data and the speed of yours. It only needs to be a fraction of a millisecond out, and it's going to look slightly different. So, with the best will in the world, sometimes if you right-click and reload your try right-clicking reload historic data, that often can change it a fraction. But you just have to accept. I mean, sometimes if I post my chart later at the Facebook group and I'll see other people posting their chart, quite often you'll see a good setup there for a second entry long for someone else, but not for me. So sometimes it just doesn't work. I did look at that, but we had a break, and I don't know. Sometimes I thought we may have had a leg and another leg and then gone higher. So I did. Yeah, sometimes it is different, mate. There's not a lot you can do about it sometimes. Okay, so we're clearly above this now. So we're in the lap of the gods up here. We haven't been up to this level for a while. So there's no reason why I wouldn't expect to make another leg up there. So we've had this channel, we've had a break. We have had a break here. I can't see how we haven't, because I've gone right for the bottoms and right on these two touches. This is clearly working in that top tier of the channel, and we've pushed down. So I don't know. I'd have preferred a higher low there, but I didn't just want to take that because I just don't want to risk blowing what I've already got. Get a lower high or something, then it may interest me. Seeing a strong trend day, it's not bad. The way we've got a doji there is just making me a bit nervous. We could have a leg and a leg. I was tempted to put an order in around here on a limit order, see if we can. It would be cool if we can get that 40 points. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Trouble is, I've done this before, just jumped in random here, and you've got like a 4-point stop, and it comes down and makes a second leg, and you're shafted. But if we come down here and make a higher low, then I might be interested, because it's not showing any signs of slowing down. But you've still got to be cautious. Remain humble, I've been told a few times. It could be a leg and a leg, and then work up. You've secured 17 points. Good on you, mate. Go take a walk. I'd take your money if I was you. Well, to be honest with you, there's no reason. Yeah, see that? So if you took that now, you would be crapping it. That's what I mean. I don't like this break. It could be leg and a leg, and then a push up. And if you did take that, you're going to get stopped out. I'm not sure what to do about this. You may have taken a short there. I kind of like that.
Order submitted.
So we've had a break, new low. This is a higher low. What I don't want to do is shy away from a trade just because I'm up. We'll see how good it looks first, because there may be some shorts in there. But it could be a leg and a leg.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, there's some little bit of uncertainty there. A break new high. Yeah, break of that 2-tier channel and a new high. But it looks to me like, well, I don't know. That's why I'm a bit cautious at the moment, because we could have a leg and another leg. I still fancy it to push higher. It's just been one of those days. We've had a nice strong trend. We had a 2-legged correction, nice strong trend. At some point, it's likely that it could break, but I mean, we had this push, we had a break, it went up, went a little bit sideways, and then it kept on going. So I still expect it to keep on going higher. So there's a lower high there, and I kind of like that.
Order filled.
I'm going to take it on a limit order and see if I can't ride it up to the highs. We've got a higher low there, so there's no argument there. 2.25 is not much of a risk. We've got a channel break, new low, bullish bar, higher low right off the key entry point. Let's just take this up to the highs, maybe. So I go one stroke size, possible second entry short. Oh, I'm a bit nervous about this. Go on, what do you get? I don't like the way we're touching these highs here. Hopefully it'll push higher. I just don't like the way it's quite bouncing a bit. Okay, what do we get there? Another $100. That's better than a kick in the teeth. Do you know what I'm thinking? We've had a bit of a break here. One leg, two leg. I think that it's probably going to go higher, but I'm just concerned we're going to end up doing something like this. So I got out with $100. So that'll do for me. It's all money in the bank. I just thought leg. I mean, it's clearly a higher low. I'm just cautious at the end of the day. I was up $350 and I'm thinking, this little break I don't like. Sometimes these breaks can be small, they can be a bit bigger. And I just get a bit nervous. So I'm going to knock it on the head, actually, guys. 2 trades, that was a point scalp, so that'll do me. I'm kind of glad I got out there. I mean, it might push higher, but I just don't like the way it struggled there. So it could come down, take that stop off and range a little bit before it goes higher. It is looking bullish, but it's a second entry long and a higher low. But I'm happy with the point. That'll do me. So plus. That'll do. It does look like it's going to continue higher, but I just, sometimes it'll range a little bit. I thought leg, and it might range a little bit sideways. At the moment, until I get these accounts up and a little bit more running success, I'm not even convinced that is a break. Once I get these accounts up and running, then I'll sit on them and take a bit of a risk of it going higher. But at the moment, I'm quite happy with the way things have turned out in the end. But there we go. So that's it for today, folks. $450 over 5 accounts, so that's all right. That's over $2,000 anywhere in them accounts, so that'll do for me. Yeah, it does look like it might keep grinding, but I don't know, sometimes it's just I like to try and get out before the highs. So have you noticed we've working here and then we've come back to this bottom, but we've pushed above it a bit there. So that tells me maybe we're going to struggle across here and do a little bit of ranging. So I'm just a bit nervous there. Nemesis Thur, have a good weekend. You too, buddy. It could range a little bit, and that would make me nervous. If I come off the bottom here, then I'd probably have a little bit more confidence and let it run up. But there we go. It is what it is anyway. So let me get rid of that. So yeah, it looks like leg. A couple of legs of a correction and another leg again. So that's 2 trades, 2 wins, $450 up for the day. Superb. Excellent. So that's it, folks. I appreciate all your comments. It's been another pretty good day, actually. We did have a few days where the market was just all over the place and I couldn't make head or tail of it. But it's been relatively easy to read today, which makes a change because it's not awful. If I can read the market and I'm at success and working out where it's going, then it gives me a little bit more confidence taking trades. But if I'm not sure, but I'm happy anyway. 2 trades in a row, that's good enough for me. So that's it, folks. So have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll meet up again on Monday. Have a nice chat, and hopefully we'll get a couple of nice days next week. Make ourselves a bit of money. So have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll do it all again on Monday.